everybody, and welcome to the DDMM YouTube channel for coverage of round 5 of this year's Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. My name is Andrew Mather. Alongside me in the virtual DDMM comms box is Howard Mitchell. And Howard, very excited for this tonight. This should be a really interesting setup. Not a new car to us. We saw this F4 car out in the last round at Barcelona, but a new track. Magny-Cours, the former host of the French Grand Prix, on board with us here tonight. Looking forward to this one. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. Yeah, absolutely. The historic, in a way, well, it's historic for me, I think, hosting the French Grand Prix between 91 and 2008. Circuit de Nevers and Magny-Cours, relatively recent addition to the iRacing service, and with that magic combination as well, the FIA Formula 4. As you say, out last time for us here at when we were at Barcelona to Catalunya, and I think it had a pretty successful debut, all things considered. So provided us with some really good racing. This circuit, relatively new to the iRacing service, as I say, so could give us some thrills and spills, and quite an interesting circuit, I think, in general, for us to go racing at. So I'm looking forward to it, mate. I think it could be a pretty tasty combination, and I'm expecting some good racing out of this.
Indeed. 27 drivers currently registered in the practice lobby. Qualifying begins very shortly, in fact. And a new driver as well. Quite interested to see our new driver, French F4 racer himself, so he should be pretty good at this combination. Garrett Berry joins the fold. Let's see how he can do against the established likes of Michael Preston, Sam Sanders, Steve Hicks, all at the top of the standings, of course. But so far this season, mate, it's very much been the newer drivers, the new additions, who have been impressing us with their form. How are championship standings looking at this stage of the season?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me bring up the standings. And as you say, it is a case of some newer additions to the championship impressing us. Adam Stater is then who leads coming into this round. 384 points he has in hand, just 4 points ahead of Steve Hicks, long-time competitor and indeed organiser of this Club 100 iRacing series. Sam Sanders in third there on 379. Jack Eyre in fourth position, another driver who we haven't seen throughout the history of this championship. Another great addition in that sense. Tim Penny there in fifth place as well. Murray Adams leading the Class 2 standings at present on the 348. And you have to go down next to Matt Hale in 10th place overall on 320 for the next person in Class 2. Sam Dimolo behind on 314. Pretty close with Luke Tomlinson there on points, scrapping over third place in Class 2 standings at the moment. And so we will carry on down the, as ever, delightfully long championship table. As you say, mate, Garrett Berry, our addition, coming into this round. Some would say he's got an unfair advantage, being literally in this season of French Formula 4 in the carbon fibre flesh, as we like to say, right? In the real world Formula 4 championship over in France. So, going to be interesting to see how he gets on this evening.
It is indeed. Could be a real disruptor. First time we've mentioned that word, I think, this season, because he probably won't be eligible. Well, he will be eligible for the championship prizes on offer for all of our drivers. If they win this championship, they not only get some iRacing dollars, but they also get a chance to drive in a Club 100 endurance race in 2024 of their choosing, free of charge, virtue of our partners at Club 100 Racing. So whilst he's eligible for that, he probably has missed too many rounds to be a contender for those prizes. But here is Garrett Berry on board with him as we run towards the Adelaide chicane, one of the best opportunities, Howard, for overtaking around this circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. people who've been fans of F1 for a number of years may remember a certain David Coulthard giving a particular opinion on a move by, I think it was Michael Schumacher, was it not?
Was indeed.
Into that hairpin. Yep. Maybe not the most positive moment to reference. Through this middle sector then, brilliant middle sector here, Andrew. I really love this, really clinging on, pushing the car to its limits through the right, left there. And this long corner that they go through then to then go through another fast chicane. This is the Imola chicane. I think they've just gone through there. And then, oh no, sorry, this is the Imola chicane. I was getting ahead of myself. Again, clinging on for dear life with the car there. And then through Chateau d'Eau into the latter sector of the lap here. And heading towards the last part of the lap, breaking down into Lissepan. And then through the chicane, another little chicane here, to finish off the lap and across the line, try and maximise the curve that you use on the runoff there, and it's a 1:39.071. Excuse me, it's a 1:38.045 for Garrett Berry, taking him on to provisional pole. It's a really good lap there, as we're on board with him again on the run towards surely the most promising overtaking spot on the circuit in the form of that Adelaide hairpin.
So provisional pole position then for the first race of the night for Garrett Berry in the Club 100 and G3 Pro car there. Big thanks to G3 Pro once again, series sponsors here in 2023. Kieran Harrison has gone to the front row of the grid as well. Remember, this is the timed qualifying session for the first heat, which in effect acts as an eliminator heat. The job, once we get into that race, will be finishing the top 16. So if you can qualify on time here in the top 16, you're setting yourself up for a good path towards the A final. There will be a B final tonight as well, and a super final. So this qualifying session and 4 races for you here tonight on the DDMM YouTube service. So it's Berry from Harrison. Michael Preston has gone P3. Is that a problem for Christopher Powell there, running a little bit wide in Sector 2?
Yeah, indeed. I think that was maybe getting a little bit impatient maybe through the 180 corner, if I've got the section of the lap correct. Oh no, actually, I tell a lie. No, I'm going to stick with it. I think it was a bit of impatience there through 180, as I said on the onboard that we had with Garrett Berry a moment ago. Really long corner. It's called 180, right? It's 180 degrees, but it feels, Andrew, particularly after you've gone through the Nürburgring chicane, which is such a fast sequence, it feels like it takes forever. It's actually very easy to lose patience there and mess up your line.
Is indeed. Change at the top. Kieran Harrison has gone on to provisional pole position with a 1:37.9. Garrett Berry has gone quicker as well, but stays P2. Here's Adam States, current championship leader. What can he do here in France? He goes P16. Now that is a surprise.
That's it. His
Adam
laps are done.
State, over 2 lone qualifying laps, has only gone onto the 8th row of the grid. Here is Sam Sanders. He's not set a lap time
valid.
at all.
No valid lap, Andrew. They've been
real
pushing.
drama there, as 2 of our big hitters here, Howard, have not qualified well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is no valid lap time for Richard Sanders, Sam Dimolo, Christopher Powell, and William Doyle, Andrew. That's going to be a costly start to their round. And, well, is there plenty of runoff here? Yes, in places, but track limits, if you fall afoul of them, your lap will be invalidated, and that's what's happened.
Right, well, that leaves us with a very interesting scenario, I think, here for the first race of the evening. Kieran Harrison is on pole position, Garrett Berry alongside on the front row. Michael Preston and Tom Dix currently your second row. There are a couple of drivers still out there with lap times to complete. We'll keep a track of those. Jack Eyre and Charlie Summers currently on the third row of the grid. Great qualifying from Dan Gamblin. Top of the C2s on the 4th row alongside Andrew Dawson. This could be a big night for drivers in Class 2, which is our almost like clubman intermediate challenge. Those with iRacing experience, but perhaps not at the level where you would consider them as a pro driver or an elite iRacing driver. some big, I've got to say, there's some big points, championship points on offer tonight for those C2 drivers who've made the effort to make it to Magny-Cours tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I say Christopher Powell there, a good example of a driver just getting in by the skin of his teeth with a valid lap. It was only good enough for 21st. So he's got some work to do. As I say, interesting to compare, by the way. I've got here that the real-world lap record for a Formula 4 car around here, I don't know if this is just during a race, but it's a 1:39.820, which, well, we're going around significantly faster than that at the front of the field. So just interesting to see the comparison there between the sim and what's been seen in the real world. Let's take a look, Andrew, as we head into this heat race, which is going to feature all of our drivers to start off. Let's take a look at our grid.
Let's look at the grid indeed. So Kieran Harrison has pole position. Garrett Berry alongside on the front row. Michael Preston and Tom Dix form up row number 2. Jack Eyre and Charlie Summers on row 3. Dan Gamblin and Andrew Dawson form up an all C2 row 4. Steve Hicks and Adrian Goodwin can move from there into the A final with clean races. They start on row 5. Matthew Whitefoot is the third of the C2s. He starts on row number 6 alongside Cameron Watson. Row 7 has Rethink Racing's Luke Tomlinson on it alongside Tim Penny, who's had a very positive start to this season. Matt Salmon, who is now upgraded to a C2 driver after a very impressive start to C3, starts on row 8 alongside championship leader Adam State. James Fremont and David Whitehouse are there on row 9. Craig Brown and Matt Hale on row 10. Christopher Powell with work to do there from row number 11 alongside Richard Sanders. Rick Wong and Simon Delamere are the second and third of the C3s there on row number 12. Then Alan Curtis and Sam Sanders on row 13. William Doyle and Sam Dimolo complete the 28 car field here at Magny-Cours in iRacing for round 5 of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Ready to go racing once again here on the DDMM YouTube channel. We had some great racing at Teesside Autodrome in the 24-hour on the weekend. What are we going to get here midweek in the iRacing Championship? Lights are ready to be illuminated here at Magny-Cours. And away we go. Good start for Kieran Harrison in the yellow car there on the left-hand side. Garrett Berry, the French F4 driver, already trying to challenge. And round the outside there, Michael Preston in the Williams Esports colours is looking for P2 and getting P2. Great start for Harrison, leading as they go on the long run, Howard, up to Adelaide hairpin. Very good start as well for Michael Preston.
Yeah, it looks relatively clean throughout the field, Andrew, but they're all vying for position. It'll be this big braking zone into Adelaide that really tests their mettle as they're going to splay 3 wide and no doubt 4 wide. Challenging for the lead there is the 93 of Harrison and through, and that is a wide moment there as we've got chaos behind.
Yeah, chaos behind. This may well be a safety car straight away on lap 1. Adam States in the middle of all that. Andrew Dawson, who qualified well in the Gulf-coloured car, is in trouble. Christopher Powell is off in the background as well. Simon Delamere's in the middle of all of that. That was a really, really messy start. David Whitehouse is missing a rear wing. A really, really messy start there into the Adelaide hairpin here at Magny-Cours.
Yeah, definitely not what we wanted to see to kick off the night. There will indeed be a safety car now, so everyone will form up. Early bragging rights to Kieran Harrison, Andrew, but yeah, we didn't see what started that. But we've seen that. We've seen that. If you think back to the years when Formula 1 was here, you saw that not uncommonly. What an interesting way of saying it. It was not infrequent that we saw some kind of incident like that on lap 1, so yeah. I can't say I'm massively surprised. As we said at the very top of the stream, new circuit for a lot of drivers. Only been on the iRacing service, oh gosh, a couple of seasons now? Or was it last season, actually, that it was added? So it's relatively new addition.
Now,
and the drivers need to be careful
they need
there.
to slow down because they've got to allow the safety car to come out onto circuit. Safety car driver a little bit slow this evening to get out on circuit. So that was actually well negotiated by a number of the drivers at the front of the field to identify that situation. So Kieran Harrison has correctly formed up behind the safety car. Garrett Berry P2, Michael Preston P3. Tom Dix had a good start there in the Monaco 2022 liveried car, McLaren livery, the Golf livery there. There is Adam State heading back out on circuit now. At least this safety car and the quick repairs will allow Adam State to get back into a racing position, but he's now even further down the order, Howard, than he was at the start of this race. He's P21 with 5 places to find to qualify through directly to the A final. Otherwise, he's got to repecharge, or at least attempt to repecharge through the B final. And with a wave around process now in play for the drivers, it may take a little bit longer, this safety car tonight. Will mean that everybody is back on the lead lap, but there's going to be less laps to play with for drivers who want to get themselves in that top 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, Adam State involved in all of that. Also noting Luke Tomlinson as well, who's fairly high up in our Class 2 studies coming up. In fact, he's still on the pit at the moment, which is interesting, as is Christopher Powell.
Yeah, possibly towing back still to pit lane. So their car's showing pit lane, but the simulation still has them with some seconds to go.
Yeah,
tick down.
Say Powell going off to driver's right after the hairpin effectively gave me a little bit of a flashback out of it. This might be a bit niche. I remember there being an absolutely massive incident in a GP2 race at pretty much that part of the circuit. And I'm going to possibly get this wrong. I want to say it was one of those, the Repsol sponsored racing engineering cars. I want to say it was an Ernesto Viso back in the day. That might be wrong.
That's a who and a half.
But I think it was Ernesto Viso. That rings a bell. So that is off the top of my head, folks. So feel free to correct me for anyone who's a big GP2 viewer circa, gosh, 2006.
Let us know. Hello to, in fact, yeah, apologies. Some of the comments haven't been coming through onto Streamlabs desktop, but I'll just pull them up here. Adam State says I think the only buying the track today was a slight mistake. It has been talked about that a couple of the drivers. I know we're at a busy time of year, and a couple of the drivers haven't had as much personal preparation time than perhaps they would have liked. I think that might show tonight. Hello,
I mean, it's worth.
Go ahead, mate.
Sorry, I just wanted to say it's worth noting where we're at as well in the iRacing calendar, right? A new season is just getting underway. So any drivers planning to compete in any of the iRacing Run Championships may have had their focus somewhat on that. We've just had as well, the weekend just gone, was the iRacing 6 hours of the Glen, around Watkins Glen. So if they've been involved in any of the sort of mainstream iRacing events, this might not have featured quite as highly as some of the other rounds we've had. So
Christopher Powell got out just in time ahead of the safety car, so he won't need a wave around. Some things just happened to Cameron Watson on my screen. It might just be a little bit of lag or internet drop. Luke Tomlinson is still in the pits as well. So there is Cameron Watson. So he's going to need a wave around.
I think we should make it clear, by the way, that there is no mandatory stop in this race.
No.
You'd be forgiven for thinking otherwise. But, yeah. And there he goes.
So drivers will just be being told now to stay to one side of the circuit if they can and allow the wave around to happen. Luke Tomlinson's still in the pits, Howard. I must be honest, I'm a bit perplexed by that because surely his toe back has occurred by now, but there we go. So Kieran Harrison leads the race, Garrett Berry second. All of these drivers will be perfectly happy where they are because they're in the top 16. They're qualifying through to the A final direct without the perils of the B final. Preston, Dix, Air, Hicks, Whitefoot, Penny, Craig Brown up in P9. James Fremont, a great run so far, managed to negotiate his way through the chaos is P10. Adrian Goodwin, Sam Sanders. So Sam Sanders is already qualifying through to the A final. Matt Salmon, Dan Gamblin, Matt Hale and Sam Dimlow. If the race was to finish like this, they would all be in the A final. Matt Hale is on the bubble again, I should note. He had a real battle to hold himself in the A final last time out in Barcelona. Outside looking in, William Doyle P17, Richard Sanders, Cameron Watson, Charlie Summers, Adam State. I feel a little bit sorry for Richard there because he's a C3 in the middle of 4 C1s, all on the outside looking in. I think once we do get back to green, we're going to see a little bit of action here. Luke Tomlinson is now back on circuit, I can see on our timing and scoring. In fact, I think we just saw him pass through shot in the background there. Oh no, that may have been Watson and Powell rejoining the back of the pack.
Yeah, so... interesting. Okay, so the announcement has just gone through for Tomlinson to get the wave by. So here he is trying to catch up onto the back of the pack. So he's just coming onto the back of them. Oh no, he's still a little... Yeah, he's just coming onto them now as we ring up the driver tracker there. So I would say, Andrew,
the thing is, he's showing us 2 laps down on my time and scoring. So even if he does get the wave around, he's still going to be off the lead lap.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be quite the safety car if we were going to undo all of that. But here he's now going by on the field at least once.
Yep.
We're going to have therefore. That's a. That's. I know he's got the wave by, but to me, maybe that was the camera angle. That looked a little bit. You know, when you see a motorbike filtering far too fast through traffic. There we go. Good etiquette from everybody, keeping over to driver's left to allow him by. Don't hit the pace car.
Don't hit the pace car. This is not Talladega Nights.
Or you're
yes,
not
Rossley, these are new rules. This was off the back of Barcelona, where the F4s in particular, we had a lot of drivers that were a lap down immediately after the safety car. So, well, to be honest, we're not quite sure what's happened with Luke Tomlinson. I mean, he is 2 laps down, but the others who under the old rules would have been 1 lap down and were at Barcelona, they have been caught up. The lights are extinguished on the safety car, so that means we are ready to go racing once again here at Magny-Cours, and it'll effectively be an 8-lap sprint to determine who's in the top 16, who will qualify through to the A final, and who of the 12 drivers, sorry, I can do maths, will be in the B final. Tomlinson will be able to get back onto the rear of the field. Big thanks to Luke, actually. I assume Lucky Luke T1 is Luke himself, who's subscribed here to the DDMM YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, for your great support. Bowled over by the amount of support of the broadcast for the BUKC 24 hours this weekend just gone. So once again, thank you so much, everybody, for your kind words and your support of that one. And you can watch the whole race back live with commentary for the first 12 hours and the last 6 hours from myself, Jacob Harris, and others.
Highlighting some of the interesting points in the field, Andrew, we saw Matthew Whitefoot, highest placed Class 2 runners, 7th overall, and Richard Sanders in the 333, as you say, surrounded by Class 1s, but with the opportunity of getting into that top 16. And hey, we've been talking already this evening about how this circuit, you know, some people, some very experienced drivers maybe aren't very experienced around here. That throws up opportunity, Andrew.
Does indeed. So I think Tomlinson will just about catch the rear of the pack here. You see his blue dot on the circuit map tracker on the top right. Yes, he is going to catch just as they go through this chicane here.
Sam Sanders, your biggest mover. Sorry, Andrew, 14 places up. So that's pretty good going there.
Yeah, I think Sam would be very happy with that. I think if you'd offered him this situation of a bit of chaos, survive it, get through, at least be in the top 16 at the end of the safety car, he'd have taken that. But there's a lot of racing remaining to go. 8 laps to go. Away goes Kieran Harrison. Oh, big off in the background. Who was that going off?
Dan Gamblin.
It's Dan Gamblin. So Dan Gamblin, who is in such a strong position off the qualifying, has had an incident through the final chicane on the safety car restart, and he almost definitely will be in the B final now. Kieran Harrison continues to lead at the front of the field. Garrett Berry in P2. Michael Preston is going to be under attack perhaps from Tom Dix there in the Gulf liveried machine into the Adelaide hairpin to go. There'll be no safety car this time if there's a bit of chaos. And I think Tim Penny's thrown one down the inside in the bright blue Nomad car there for potentially, I think he was having a go at 7th place on Matthew Whitefoot. There's chaos towards the back. Sam Dimolow's in trouble and slipping down the order, having been in the top 16. Adam State's trying to find his way through, and in fact at the moment has found his way through into P16. Charlie Summers on his outside now. It is all going on here at Magny-Cours. There is Andrew Dawson in P19. That's David Whitehouse in the Target liveried car just behind. Sam Dimolow continuing to have problems, having handling issues, it would seem, there in his car. Boy, oh boy, what a safety car restart, Howard.
Absolutely, and Adam State in, as there's a puff of smoke ahead of them, there's been some drama there. Matt Salmon's off into the gravel, well off into the gravel there at Chateau d'Eau. That was terrible pronunciation, but he's off nonetheless to driver's right, Andrew. Heading into that corner.
I just wonder if he lost the rear.
Unusual.
If he lost the rear on the curb on the right-hand part of. Oh, was Adam State in a bit of trouble there? Well, holding back, or was that a slowdown?
No, I think he was trying to put a move on William Doyle, and they just all checked up on each other through the coming towards the last chicane. Before we looked at the incident for Matt Salmon, I was going to say that Adam State's had a good restart, Andrew, getting up into the top 16. But that's old news now, up to 13th place there. As that was an interesting moment for William Doyle as well, through the gravel, coming off up towards Adelaide.
Boy, oh boy, I think if you're in the top 10 now, just bring this home. Don't oh, look at that. Was that William Doyle and Cameron Watson and Charlie Summers were all, I think, having a little go at Adam State there. Sam Sanders is just ahead of them in the light blue and white, and there's more chaos behind. What's going on here? There's
an F4 wing missing somewhere, and it's the wing of Luke Tomlinson. More drama for the 103, and well, I know they're not the highest downforce single-seaters, but he will definitely feel the difference there as he turns his Formula 4 car half back into a Formula Ford by removing the rear wing.
Yes. Time scoring now has Tomlinson back onto the lead lap. I'm not quite sure how that's happened, ladies and gentlemen, but there we go. Halfway through this race, this is Cameron Watson in the US Air Force car. It's currently in 15th. That's good enough. That's good enough to get into the A final direct. I think, given how much chaos there is out there, he'll want to be a little bit further up the order. Here is Kieran Harrison, leading this race, on board now with Garrett Berry on his debut tonight in the CLUB100 BUKC iRACing Championship. But he'll be familiar with this car. This is the car that he races in real life in the French Formula 4 Championship. How do you play this if you're Berry at the moment? How do you just kind of sit there thinking it's a heat and go for the bigger moves later on?
I mean, I think to a certain extent you have to, right? It's the same as any other race here. The drivers, you get into a certain rhythm around you. It is a sprint race. It feels quite long because of the safety car so far, but you know, it is a sprint race. Just hang on and see if opportunity presents itself in the latter, the latter quarter, third of the race, and then pounce if the opportunity's there. At the moment, it's, unless a real tasty opportunity comes, it's about seeing, okay, where am I faster than this person? Where are they weak? Where might I be able to spring a surprise? And as we've covered already, being a French Formula 4 driver himself, he will no doubt have a few ideas as to the tricks of the trade around this Magny-Cours circuit. But yeah, it's about biding your time for now, I think, unless something too good to pass up comes along.
5 laps to go then. Sam Sanders round! Sam Sanders round, and this torrid season at times for Sam Sanders continues here. Well, he had trouble at Daytona, remember, getting through the heats and into the A final outright, and he had to race through the B final. It might be the same again here tonight in France, because Sam Sanders, who's a genuine title contender last year, is now in P20 and looking at the abyss of the B final. Oh, and who was that flying off the road? Who was that off the road through turn 1 and turn 2? Whoa. There's more chaos in the pit lane with Rick Wong. What on earth was going on there in the pit lane? Who was Jack Hare? Was it Jack Hare flying off the road through turn 1? Who's now in P16?
No, he's benefited. So it's Charlie Summers. Charlie Summers, look at that. The car crabbing, he's going to have to tow with that. Apologies, folks, there were so many things kicking off on my screen then, and it was difficult to keep up. No, it's been opportunity for Jack Hare, because crucially, he's now up into 16th place, into the top, the last of the promotion spots. So it's easy to get them confused. He has got a blue detailed livery, the same as we saw on the damaged car, but no, that's been opportunity for him. But my goodness me, this is a battle between Curtis Delamere and Powell, little way off the back there. But yeah, massive damage for Charlie Summers, towing there in the pit lane.
Right, let's just all capture our breaths for a minute. Who has survived out there in this one? Well, Kieran Harrison, Garrett Berry, and Michael Preston definitely have. They've got 4 laps to go, including the one that they are on, and is Garrett Berry setting up for a move here? Has he got enough of a slipstream as they head up towards the Adelaide hairpin? Kieran Harrison is going to have to defend, you'd think. Garrett Berry's going to look to the outside. Will he try the switchback, trying to get the number 93 off the racing line? That's very well defended by Kieran Harrison. Didn't panic, showing all of his experience there. Howard holds on to the lead.
Great positioning. It's going to be quite a bold move through the Nürburgring chicane. One would have thought he'll hold station there, keep his powder dry. Not really an overtaking opportunity into 180 either, to be perfectly honest. It's relatively short braking zone, but he'll be trying to follow through. The next big opportunity, I'd say, is at Chateau d'Eau, which is after the Imola chicane, which is next. He'll go right then left. Has a look even there to a certain extent. Makes his line shallower. Braking here into Chateau d'Eau, and Harrison feels the need to go defensive. But he's wide on exit, Andrew. That's going to open the door, surely now, for Garrett Berry to have a look. It's Lycée Pound, the next corner, the next significant corner. Here we go, braking zone for that. And surely down, no. Harrison's going to keep his foot into it. This is brilliant racing. And through the chicane, and finally, Garrett Berry gets the job done and is up into the lead.
Berry leads then at Magny-Cours. Brilliant racing here in the CLUB100 BUKC iRACIng Championship, and Michael Preston's not out of this. He's sniffing around there in 3rd place, wanting a piece of the action. Very respectful racing between Berry and Harrison there. Very, very good to see.
Yeah, brilliant racing, I've got to say. And who no one wants to provide the tow for anybody else here. This is brilliant stuff. Garrett Berry has gone from the hunter to the hunted. He's going to have to position his car as well as Harrison did a lap ago. Preston choosing to keep his powder dry for now as the two at the front go side by side briefly at the apex of Adelaide. And now it's still Berry, but he's feeling the need to take a shallower line there, Andrew. Half in defence, even into Nürburgring chicane. So this is fascinating stuff. And I tell you what, if you're Tom Dix at the moment, just keep pushing. This could come back to you, you know, as the dam has burst, as it were, on this lead battle, as Preston's all over the back. And there's a touch on the rear of Harrison as well there in the battle for 2nd place. Is that going to give a little bit of breathing room for Garrett Berry to start stretching his legs, one wonders? But there's still a couple of laps to go after this one, Andrew. Plenty of opportunity for it to change around again.
Very, very interesting dynamic here. Garrett Berry, the Formula 4 driver in real life, knows this car, knows how it handles leading the race, but you've got to remember it's his debut. He's a long way behind in the points, but these two drivers here, Kieran Harrison and Michael Preston, these are drivers who've been around for a good number of rounds. They are championship contenders. They've already come to blows so far this season. As what is happening here with Alan Curtis is slipping down the order, it would seem.
Yeah, pass towards further down the order, Andrew. We've got good battles throughout here, actually. This is Matt Hale, but so there's a little lock up there. But yeah, sorry, back at the front as they head towards Adelaide.
As I say, Harrison and Preston have already had their battles so far this season. Didn't see too much of that, of course, in the previous round, in round 4. Kieran Harrison took the round victory, on board now with Michael Preston, about 3.5 seconds ahead of Tom Dix there in 4th place. Meanwhile, just a quick update for C2, Matthew Whitefoot looking to build a good night here in his
Traffic
C2
ahead.
challenge. There is traffic ahead for the leaders. Matthew Whitefoot leading in C2 at the moment, 7th place overall, with Craig Brown not too far behind James Fremont up in the top 3 of the C2 drivers. Those are the drivers on your timing and scoring left-hand side, denoted by the blue position number boards. The C1s are all in red. Those are our pro drivers, our far more experienced drivers in the sim racing world. In other words, aliens.
Yes. Top 16 broadly squared away at this point, Andrew. There's a fair old gap between Jack Eyre in 16th and Matt Salmon in 17th. So I think going on to this last lap, the main source of entertainment, indeed the closest battle on track at the moment, is between these top 3.
And that's what we want to see. We were intrigued to see how the addition of Garrett Berry would change or, you know, just flavour up the dynamic of this championship, and so far it's working very well. Michael Preston a bit too far back there, I think, to have a go into the Adelaide hairpin, but there is going to be traffic for the leaders here.
Crucial how they react coming through this middle sector of the lap, Andrew. This is not where you want to catch traffic.
Adam State's been in the pit lane. I think Adam State has had a accumulation of penalties, Howard, and incident points, and he's had to come into pit lane. It's the only reason why I would think he'd be coming in at this stage of the race, but crucially it means he's outside the top 16 now. Matt Salmon is back in.
Yeah, absolutely, and our championship leader coming into this evening, as it currently stands, Andrew, as you say, he's going to have to fight his way up through the B final. Rick Wong and Dan Gamblin ahead of the top 3 here as they approach the final sector of the final lap. Oh goodness me!
Very close indeed. Well, we weren't expecting this on a 12-lap race, but the leaders having to pick their way. They've got to survive, of course. They're not guaranteed a top 16 spot yet. They've still got to see the checkered flag first. We've got to say the traffic is being very compliant. Garrett Berry on debut in the CLUB100 and BUKC iRacing Championship, wins in the heat at Magny-Cours, takes victory here for the first of the 4 F4 races tonight. Second for Harrison, third for Preston. Good finish there for Tom Dix. P4 will be on the second row for the A final. Steve Hicks is going to come home P5. P6 for Tim Penny. 7th for Matthew Whitefoot, top of the C2s. Craig Brown is through as well. Great drive from James Fremont. Is going to get through in P9. William Doyle joins him, as does Cameron Watson. Matt Hale is through to the A final once again, has had a spin on the last corner. Jack Eyre, Adrian Goodwin, Andrew Dawson, they're all through. And Matt Salmon, having been off earlier in the race, Howard, is going to be the lucky dog here, gets through P16, virtue of penalties for others.
Very much. I'm going to say that was deliberate from Matt Hale across the line. He knew where the finish line was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have expected that, I don't think, Matt Salmon, all things being equal. But how about this? Adam State finishes 19th in the running, and that is going to be very interesting coming into our B final. Goodness me, mate, that had it all, and that was only the first race of the evening. I've got to say, though, perhaps a skeptic or a cynic coming into tonight would say, well, Garrett Berry, Formula 4 driver, he's going to win it all. No way. He had to fight for that.
Yep.
He really did, and that was fantastic to see at the front.
It was indeed. So we'll move on to the B final. This will be the opportunity for a number of our drivers to go through into the A final. And Howard, let's see if the grid is forming up. Let's have a look at the grid. Or not, because iRacing's done it to me again. It always catches me out with the loading screen as the last of the cars come over the line. But I do believe now we are getting ready for the B final. Top 4 go through. 12 cars due. And this is not the grid that I was expecting to read out at the start of the evening for our B final. Sam Sanders, yes, Sam Sanders is on pole position in the B final. Christopher Powell, last year's C2 champion, alongside him on the front row. Championship leader Adam State on the second row of the grid. David Whitehouse alongside him there, P4. If they finish like that, they'll go through. Alan Curtis and Simon Delamere will be trying to stop them from row 3. Sam Sanders and Rick Wong start on row 4. Dan Gamblin and Sam Dimolo on row 5. Gamblin having been pole sitter in C2. Summers and Tomlinson on row 6. This could be one of the most intriguing B finals of the season so far. We're ready to go, and away we do go. Good start for Sanders there, P1. Not a good start for Powell, has already got the attentions of Adam State looking around the outside as they go through turn number 1. David Whitehouse to the inside now, challenging State for third on the road. Through they go. There's a bit of 2 wide, 3 wide as they go through turn at number 2. Rick Wong going round the outside, but a good run now for Sam Sanders up to the Adelaide hairpin. That's what he wants, Howard. Nice clean run. Got to keep it simple in this race to qualify through.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a slow moment there for Simon Delamere in the middle of this pack. 12 cars barrelling towards Adelaide this time then. Bit of a lock-up there, it looked to me, from, I think that was Alan Curtis. But they are all through cleanly, I'm delighted to say. And as you say, Andrew, exactly the start that Sam Sanders would have wanted. I have to say, Adam State crept forward slightly in his grid box whilst you were reading out the grid. I think he'll get away with that. I've never actually done that in iRacing. But I think that's okay. But yeah, he was raring to go, perhaps a bit too raring to go.
Yeah, could have triggered a jump start penalty there, but as I say, I think he's got away with it. I guess we'll know in a few moments' time. See if he pulls into pit lane for a jump start penalty. Good evening to Alex Mitchell. It's very fast at the weekend for Brighton in the BUKC 24-hour. Sahib as well on board. Matt Salmon mentions that was madness in the
it was.
As on board now with Charlie Summers, trying to find a way past Alan Curtis here for 5th place. Looking to the inside at turn 1. That would be a brave move. If you've got Charlie's partner's got to have a compliant driver on the outside. Alan Curtis does comply. And here comes Dan Gamblin as well. Remember, he qualified so well in the time qualifying session earlier on this evening. Had an incident in, he's in the gravel. He's going to lose out there. Maybe overtaken by Sam Dimolo. Is indeed. These are all drivers on the outside of the top 4 at the moment. Howard need to get themselves organised as they get a race through.
They do indeed. Battling here between Rick Wong and Simon Delamere, two Class 3 drivers, excuse me, coming into this evening. Hey, it might only be 12 cars on the track, but that's not leaving us, it's not left us wanting for battling, is it? This is a brilliant race in the early stages here. Alan Curtis leads Sam Dimolo and Dan Gamblin through the Nürburgring chicane and then into the long 180 corner. Oh, bit of a hop over the curb there for Sam Dimolo. Might compromise him heading towards the Imola chicane. Indeed, Dan Gamblin is right in his wheel tracks. But he manages to gather himself up again as there's another lock-up ahead of them. Oh, Adam State.
Oh, Adam State's in trouble. Oh, championship leader in trouble. Is not having a good evening of it here in Magny-Cours. He's falling down the order now. He's now P8. Rick Wong goes down the inside as well. Oh, this is not and Adam State's pulling into the pit lane. He must have damage. But he'll be able to get a fast repair and get back in. But surely it's going to be too much work for Adam State now, who is going to lose a heap of points, or the opportunity is going to be gone there for a heap of points. Side by side here between Alan Curtis and I think Dan Gamblin in there. Sorry, he's looking back from Alan Curtis, Dimolo and Gamblin. That's over 6th spot. My oh my, Sam Sanders leading the race then. Charlie Summers P2, David Whitehouse P3. They're going through at the moment. Christopher Powell is the driver on the outside. On the inside. They're in P4. This is almost formed into your Classic B final in terms of the tactics here, Howard. The top 4 must not fight. They've got to keep themselves away. They've got to keep pulling away from Alan Curtis and hope that Alan's number 343 car holds up the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have to say, by the way, if you ever needed an advert for the old adage of how do you get good at iRacing? You practice. Yep. Adam State is not a bad driver. He is leading this championship, and a very competitive one it is as well. And yet he is having a right ordeal of an evening. And as he says, maybe only getting the circuit today and coming along to the races is a flawed strategy, or turning out to be.
Not optimal is what I would say.
In the extreme, yes.
Well, the timing
nice
shows
move here
it.
from Tomlinson.
Yeah, Tomlinson down the inside of Rick Wong there in the gold car.
Oh,
that's going to be uncomfortable for Luke Tomlinson. Oh, and who's that? Is that is Dimolo going slowly?
It is Dimolo going slowly.
Just wonder if he'd had a slowdown.
Oh, nose damage. Nose damage on that car, Andrew. So he's tagged someone on the rear, and he's not got the turn in with that front wing damage.
Nope.
And this is a circuit, Andrew, where you really feel a loss of downforce.
Yep. A lot of high-speed corners. You need a good front end, and that is not what Sam Dimolo's got at the moment. Side by side here between Alan Curtis and Dan Gamblin, and there's contact between Curtis and Gamblin in the middle of the Adelaide hairpin. That all looked a little bit clumsy, and Gamblin may have damage there.
He's very sheepish down that straight after the Adelaide hairpin, isn't he? Although he seems fairly committed through Nürburgring chicane there. So maybe that was more just getting over the shock of mounting another Formula 4 car. But yeah, well, from that Curtis Gamblin Dimolo battle that we had raging in the middle of the pack, it's Alan Curtis the only one left of to take home the spoils.
Right. Well, it seems crazy to think there's still over half of this race to go. Sam Sanders is your leader. There he is. Just got to keep it on the road. Runs wide out of the final corner and nearly spins it on the grass.
Might have been a 1 extra track limits. I'm just guessing.
Maybe.
David Whitehouse is in the pit lane, Andrew.
Now what has happened here with David Whitehouse? I'd be surprised if it's a number of incidents. But either way, unless it is, as David Whitehouse exceeded the incident points limit awarded by the electronic stewards, I think that must be what's happened to him.
Well, just flashing the graphic up on the timing tail there, Andrew.
Or I'll put this: is it one of those where you run wide, you get a slowdown, but you try and whittle it down in your 0.1? You just can't get rid of the end of it, and you get a drive-through penalty. That might be what's happened there to David Whitehouse.
Dimolo's in the pit lane as well. That's less surprising. We saw the nose damage on that, and the wing damage. So okay, that's that one.
At the moment, I've got to say, fair play to Alan Curtis at the moment. He is the driver racing through in 4th place by just keeping it clean at the moment.
Yep. How about this as well? If anything does happen to the top 4, Rick Wong here would move up into the promotion spots, which would be as Dan Gamlin's. Whoa, that's an interesting place to have a look around this lap of Circuit de Nevers Magny-Cours.
Oh, Curtis had a problem. Curtis has had a problem and is fallen off the road and is going to lose 4th place.
Well, this is the battle for the final promotion spot. Clearly, he just missed battling with Dan Gamblin, and Gamblin's down the inside. Lisepan, and he's through and up into 4th place.
Well, poor Alan Curtis becomes yet another victim of the DDMM comms box curse. We were just saying how he was keeping it clean, was there in P4, made a mistake, ran wide, and has now slipped down to 6th place.
And he's doing what he needs to do, is Dan Gamblin here, Andrew. He's pushing. He's pushing at this point. Rick Wong is going to be in the wheel tracks. This race is just keeps on giving. Side by side now, heading towards the Adelaide hairpin. Luke Tomlinson in the background as well in the red car. Don't count him out as Rick Wong is ahead into Adelaide. Can they all get it stopped well enough? No, he can't. And on the switchback coming out of it, it is Dan Gamblin back up into 4th place. The battle goes on.
I don't think Dan Gamblin, I think he may be carrying a bit of wing damage or something. He has not got the straight line speed at all. He's really, really struggling to break away from these drivers, and I say that with all respect to Wong and Curtis, but based on the qualifying results, I'd be expecting in normal conditions Dan Gamblin to be galloping away here, and he's just not able to do so.
No, there's something not quite shipshape about that FIA Formula 4 car he's piloting. Pulled away nicely during that middle sector, as Alan Curtis now coming under serious pressure from Luke Tomlinson. May I register how much I'm liking the FIA Formula 4 car as an addition to the Club 100 iRacing Championship? It's producing absolutely bombastic racing.
It is indeed on board with Luke Tomlinson, currently in 7th place. Needs to find a way past Alan Curtis, as always a problem there for Rick Wong up ahead. Was looking a little bit wide and out of shape through turn 1 and turn 2. Tomlinson's going to have a run here. He's going to get to the inside of Curtis. Very good driving there from Luke Tomlinson as they head up towards the Adelaide hairpin. Tomlinson's not out of this for a run into the top 4. If his car is feeling fit, what's the gap? It's about 2.5–3 seconds up to Dan Gamblin at the moment.
And I got to say, Andrew, I wonder if Alan Curtis maybe got distracted by Rick Wong having a moment through Estoril. That's turn 2 for those without the circuit map in front of them. It's a very long corner, that turn 2, and there are different lines that can sort of pay dividends on exit or on entry, and different ways you can do it. And I think Rick Wong going wide may have just thrown Alan Curtis off maybe and opened up the door for Tomlinson to just get brilliant drive off the corner. He had the job done by the time they were braking for Adelaide. And as you say, he's not out of this one, is he? As he's now all over the back of Rick Wong.
Yeah, he's really going for it now. He's got to make this progress now. Rick Wong's going to defend to the inside, trying to keep hold of 5th place in the race here. Luke Tomlinson may try for a look for a switchback, but it can get a bit tight through the final chicane here. Oh, takes a clattering on the curbs. Nearly runs into the back of Rick Wong there. Has he? No, he's not got enough drive to get up alongside into turn 1, but surely he'll try and set something up into the Adelaide hairpin. He's got to be patient through here, through turn 1 and through turn 2, and then get that drive like he did 1 lap ago on Alan Curtis. Has he got underneath Rick Wong? He's pulling up alongside. He's going to have a good run here, but now he's got no toe. Can he get the straight line speed high enough to get into 5th place by the time they get to the Adelaide hairpin?
I have to thank these three. They're just making the camera direction easy. I'll just keep it on these. Luke Tomlinson down the inside then at Adelaide, and he's got the job done, has he? Yes, he has, as they head into the middle sector where he should be able to cement the position.
Indeed.
Brilliant racing.
The high-speed chicane. Now they've got a set about trying to catch up to Dan Gamblin, because Gamblin, if he is still suffering with a little bit of damage, he could be vulnerable. Still 4 laps of this race to go after the one that they're currently on.
I've got to say, Gamblin's pace, Andrew, isn't giving a lot of credence to our theory that there's something not right with that Formula 4 car. Last time around, I should say, he set a personal best for this race.
Oh, okay.
140.67. So he's found some pace from somewhere. I'll admit he did seem extremely off colour with the pace after that incident at Adelaide with Curtis, but he's found some new pace in this part of the race.
Yeah, and he's just under 140.1. He's quicker at the moment than Tomlinson and Wong and Curtis. Meanwhile, just to mention Adam State, championship leader, currently in 10th place. I think he is going to catch up to some of the drivers here in this race, but I just think it's way too much time, way too much work to be done in the remaining 4 laps of this race. If Adam State's going to continue through to the A final, he needs a bit of a miracle here. Meanwhile, what's happening with that gap between Gamblin and Tomlinson? This will be a very telling lap here, Howard, I think, because it's the first time in a while that Tomlinson's had clean air.
True. Bear in mind that Gamblin does have a little bit of a toe from Powell ahead of him. I think on the longer straights, maybe. The gap is only 1.7 seconds. That might help him a little bit. And he was faster than Powell last time around, so he'll only get more of that benefit if he can keep the pace up.
Indeed. Sam Sanders, by the way, still comfortable out front. 7 seconds is the lead in the number 94. This is David Whitehouse in the red car, trying to find a way past. Because at the end of the day, if you can't make it through to the A final, Howard, get up as high in the B as you can, because it all counts for points.
Absolutely, and he's done well here, catching up under the back of Curtis and Wong ahead of them. I mean, they've had all sorts of dramas that have put them back into his grip, but his pace, Whitehouse's pace is very good, sub 140 last time around to set a personal best. So he's pushing hard here, as you say, Andrew. If you can't get promotion, it's not like there's nothing to fight for. There's good points on offer here, and I think he's going to, you know what? Fair play, because we have not seen Alan Curtis in enough battling this race, have we? just haven't seen enough. Hasn't had to get his elbows out at all.
Tomlinson goes into one. Oh, as Wong runs wide, and that's going to be Alan Curtis through into 6th place.
Oh, but Rick Wong's going to try and tuck back underneath, is he? Oh my goodness me, this could be interesting towards Adelaide. He's going to tuck back into the slipstream now. Rick Wong wants his place back. This could be very interesting. If you're David Whitehouse, I think just look for the opportunity here. Alan Curtis has the inside. Rick Wong is deep again. It's going to be 3 abreast on exit. And look at this. David Whitehouse reads it brilliantly and gets 2 of them at Adelaide as they're still side by side behind him.
Oh, and they're going to touch now. They're going to touch Curtis and Wong. That was beautifully read by David Whitehouse. He just held back there. He knew that if one of the cars on the inside or either of them lost a bit of retardation under braking, which is exactly what happened, he'd have an opportunity to gain one of the positions. He gets both of them. Curtis and Wong just need to keep a lid on it. Need to make sure that they get to the end of this race. There's been a change for 3rd place, Howard. I think Dan Gamblin, I think he's completely... Oh, now this is going to be getting very tasty, because Gamblin has been caught by Luke Tomlinson. This is for the last spot in the A final. Tomlinson down the inside, has got to be careful. Doesn't want to pick up any incident points or a penalty. But something happened. I just wondered if something happened to Christopher Powell as well, because he's dropped a long way back. 141.2 for Powell, 141.4 for Gamblin. Tomlinson was nearly 2 seconds quicker on that last lap and will now have the benefit of a tow.
Did Gamblin, because Gamblin was reeling Powell in, did Gamblin get greedy, Andrew, go for a move that may have cost him dearly in terms of promotion opportunity? Tomlinson's alongside. Tomlinson is past, who will have the outside for the hairpin. Does Gamblin have a response? No, Tomlinson's going to cut across, and I think Gamblin's going to be big on the brakes and very wide there, or very deep into the corner. And although there was a lock-up there for Tomlinson, ultimately that is the promotion spot swap. And Gamblin's going to want to try and get that back, but he's only got 1.5 laps to get that job done.
It is the best strategy right now to work with Luke Tomlinson and see if he can close down Powell with 1.5 laps to go.
I don't think Powell's got that weak a pace in clean air. I'm not sure. I think you've just got to push for the opportunity at this point, Andrew. There's only just over a lap to go.
White flag out then for the race leader. Sam Sanders is easily going to go through here. Good evening to Yusuf bin Sahel, who's just tuned in.
Charlie Summers!
Charlie Summers is off! P2 off at the last corner on the going on to the final lap. Now, has he got damage? Can he carry on? He's got a 12-second gap. Even if he has got a bit of damage, he could probably just limp round for the last lap. Powell goes on to the last lap in P3. Tomlinson still 4th, Gambling 5th. What a crazy night of racing we are having here. I think he's okay, Howard. I think he's okay. Steering straight. Front wing is okay. My, oh my. Charlie Summers living on the edge.
Luke Tomlinson challenging Christopher Powell here, Andrew, now in a difficult situation. You do not want to throw away that promotion spot. But he's alongside just as he was with Dan Gamblin a lap ago, heading towards Adelaide. If you're Christopher Powell, do you try and fight this, or do you just go, that's okay, as long as I don't let Gamblin through? Tomlinson is through. Tomlinson's deep, though. Is that going to give an opportunity for Powell off the corner? No, it's run well there, off of the corner there for Tomlinson. Feels the need to go defensive, though, into the Nürburgring. 2 of these drivers, Andrew, are going to get promotion, unless something else happens up the road. One of them is not.
Yeah, it's, well, at least for Powell, the biggest opportunity to overtake has already come and gone. That was the Adelaide hairpin. He's almost got to hope that Luke Tomlinson doesn't defend too hard here and open an opportunity up to Dan Gamblin. Sam Sanders, though, is going to convert through into the A final from pole position, has done what he needed to do. Wins the B final once again. Powell's going to have to go defensive here to keep Dan Gamblin behind. There may be a cutback. Christopher Powell's trying to chop down, get the door shut. Has Dan Gamblin pulled alongside? I think he almost had an overlap there. Powell could shut the door as they go towards the penultimate corner of the race for the last spot in the A final. Powell tries to defend around the outside. They're going to be into the final chicane, side by side. There's still going to be enough. No! Powell just holds on ahead of Dan Gamblin and goes through with Charlie Summers and Luke Tomlinson. There's still fighting going on. Oh, there's contact between Rick Wong and Adam State. And Rick Wong, they're not across the line yet. Rick Wong has been classified and is now locked together with Adam State. Adam State, you've got to reverse. You've got to reverse over the line to get that point. My goodness me, another piece of drama here tonight.
What is with this? What is going on?
Why did they remove this circuit? I know it's because no one could ever find the circuit because it's in the middle of nowhere in France, but why did they remove this from the Formula 1 calendar? I've forgotten how well this circuit raced.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Right, Sam Dimolo. We didn't actually see what befell him. He dropped off the back of that battle with Curtis and Gamblin, didn't he? But he's going to come round now to take to take the finish. I know I'm not supposed to be, because I'm supposed to be helping you commentate this, mate. I'm a little bit speechless.
That was a B final, ladies and gentlemen. That was bonkers. Let's move on. I think we've got a short warm-up going on now. We're going to take a short break here on the comms. We'll be back with the A final very, very soon. Can he hold that gap? Isaac Lauden's got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Go either into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essence, but he may. Oh, he's got the run! He's got a big move! Switchback by Weaver. Read it beautifully, saw it coming, kept the steering open, let Ben Davis come into the inside, and he's still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all 3 of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in Senior Rotax Round 2 of Super 1 2022. Line on row 11, Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12. And then we'll have our 2 qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 Club 100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start from Mike Coppin. Sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race, this, for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton. Early advantage, Howard, to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last tour of the circuit. White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's 3 of them. Sanders has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brendan at all. He's going to try and get the side trap working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. Is Sanders going to hold it? Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael.
Stages of this race. Ross Witherow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a tenth of it. Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross Witherow, brave as anything, on the brakes into the final corner, takes the lead of the race. That was a superb, awesome overtaking. Now is Ryan Magny-Cours going to respond back here? He's looking for the inside now. 6 minutes have expired. That came from miles back from Ross Witherow. Kevin Shine is continuing to go round, by the way. Really, he can drive. He's just...
Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of round 5 of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell in the virtual comms box for you tonight. We've already had 2 quite bonkers races so far tonight. Shall we have another? It's a final time here. Here is your grid. Garrett Berry on pole position. Kieran Harrison alongside on the front row. Michael Preston and Tom Dix row 2. Steve Hicks and Tim Penny on row number 3. Matthew Whitefoot and Craig Brown on row 4. James Fremont and Will Doyle row 5. Cameron Watson and Matt Hale on row number 6. Second half of the order, then Jack Eyre and Adrian Goodwin on row 7, Andrew Dawson and Matt Salmon on row 8, Sam Sanders and Charlie Summers row 9, Luke Tomlinson and Christopher Powell on row 10. Those are your 20 drivers through into the A final. Who's going to take victory amongst them? Away we go. Very good start for Berry, good start for Preston as well, looking for P2 around the outside of Kieran Harrison there, and he's maybe going to have the inside now as they go through turn 2. Yes, he is. Good start for Preston up to P2. Tom Dix is having a go in the blue and orange car there for P3. Kieran Harrison is in the gravel. He's going to be shuffled down the order. Off goes Craig Brown in the background. Has now gone back onto circuit. Made contact with, I think that was Charlie Summers. And it's chaos once again on lap 1. Can they all get through the Adelaide hairpin? That's a lot better this time. I think that'll keep things clear. It's not hit a critical mass of cars off for there to be a safety car, and it's only available for incidents on lap number 1. Through the 180 corner they go. But a little bit of a, I know it's all relative, Howard, but a bit of a calmer start here in the A final.
I'm going to put emphasis on the word a bit. Yes, a little bit. Aside from some drivers going sideways across the track. But yes, no, you're absolutely right. Pretty much a calmer start there, and a good start, as you say, for Michael Preston up into second place. It's basically just battle rejoined at the front between these 3, I reckon, unless Garrett Berry can get a bit of a steal on them, but he hasn't had a major advantage in pace thus far this evening, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get on, as that's an interesting formation coming off of the final chicane. It is Jack Eyre in the 13 who leads this pack, ahead of Adrian Goodwin, who we haven't acknowledged yet, surely one of the prettiest Formula 1 liveries who have ever raced. And as he says that, he gets on by past Jack Eyre. In fact, Jack Eyre's right wide, so Sam Sanders is going to get by on him. And they're going to go 2 abreast, even 3 abreast on the way to Adelaide hairpin. How is this going to work? I feel a sudden urge to go to the blimp shot, because how else are we going to follow it? And that's a slow moment there for Goodwin. What's happened to Goodwin? He just fell to the back of that pack.
I wonder if he's got a slow down, because he pulled over to one side of the circuit. So that is changes for position going on there. And unfortunately for Adrian Goodwin, down to P17 now.
Great start for our race winner from the B final, Andrew. Sam Sanders already up into 9th place, excuse me, as Jack Eyre is wide through 180, and that's going to lose him out heavily there in the number 13. Andrew Dawson nipping at his heels, but Matt Hale and Luke Tomlinson also doing well off the back of promotion from the B final, getting by on him.
So this race offers the most points in this first lobby portion of the night. There is the super final afterwards, of course, as well as, oh, off there and off into the gravel goes Jack Eyre. Just simply doesn't have the grip, keeps it pointing in the right direction, but is going to lose a stack of positions, slips all the way down to 17th.
Well, it's actually the same two drivers who started the lap fighting, Andrew. It's just that they've fallen to the back of the field here. Have Jack Eyre and Adrian Goodwin, as that's an interesting take on the final chicane. They're not miles off the back, but slightly unorthodox final sector for them, it has to be said.
So coming round to complete lap number 1 then, Garrett Berry leads, but is now under attack from Michael Preston. Michael looking for the inside, can't get down there because Berry is on the inside. Is there going to be a switchback? Bit of oversteer for Berry off of the Adelaide hairpin. Kieran Harrison, who we're now on board with, sitting there, P3. Best seat in the house at the moment for this battle between the two race leaders. Bit of a lock-up for Berry as they go through 180. Got to say, so far tonight, Howard, these top 3 drivers putting on quite a show at the head of the field.
Not half. Really, really good racing between these 3. There's no reason to believe that it's going to abate, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we might be having a bit more entertainment from these 3. And the question, of course, is if you're Tom Dix, can you buy into this a little bit as well if they keep on battling?
Potentially. Didn't quite pay off for him in the first race, but I don't think he'll be too bothered with a good haul of points from the heat final. They are going to have some traffic up ahead. Craig Brown is a lap down. Big hop over the curbs from all 3 of them.
Yeah, Preston pushing the hardest, I think, had the most of a twitch on there. Good little battle as well in the background, here being led by Steve Hicks, ahead of Matt Whitefoot and William Doyle. Whitefoot having, Andrew, a fantastic evening so far in the Class 2 ranks.
Yeah, a bit of a wide moment there for William Doyle. Thankfully, finds a bit of the tarmac runoff here at Magny-Cours. Michael Preston looking down the inside. Is there going to be space on the inside for the number 19? Bit of a robust one, but he's got through into the lead of the race over Garrett Berry. Kieran Harrison is going to try and follow through as well. Ignore the car in front. That's a back marker. That's not in the fight for the lead, but a real elbows out move there from Michael Preston as Berry's trying to go round the outside through 180, squirming, the real lack of grip it would seem out on circuit at the moment. Preston stays calm, retains the lead. More great racing here at Magny-Cours.
Absolutely superb stuff between these 3. They're pushing so hard, Andrew, around this circuit, but proper elbows out stuff. I don't actually think we've seen Preston leading a race yet this evening, so now all 3 of them have had their turn, as it were, as Craig Brown duly pulls over to one side to allow this battle through. Well, it's brilliant, brilliant stuff, this. I have to say as well, I mean, there's fantastic battling going throughout the field here. Here still is the Hicks-Whitefoot-Doyle battle, and that's one of many. Let's not forget this pack as well. It's broken up a little bit since we were seeing the trials and tribulations for Jack Eyre and Adrian Goodwin, but still brilliant stuff. Let's not forget here, Sam Sanders up into 9th place, and Luke Tomlinson here chasing Matt Salmon for 10th. So really good showing there from some of our promotees.
Really good showing again from Matt Salmon. I mean, it's already easy to forget that he's still relatively new to this. Only a couple of rounds in to his experience. Now a C2 driver as Berry looks to the outside through Adelaide hairpin. Well defended, routinely defended there by Michael Preston. Kieran Harrison has a look, but no, has to slot back in to 3rd place. Garrett Berry getting offline. Is he trying the make the leader nervy tactic, getting offline, trying to put Michael Preston off perhaps through the sequence of these corners? Very difficult to make a move working this portion of the racetrack.
The Steve Hicks battle you just see in the background now, beginning to reel in Tim Penny actually in 5th. So that's almost becoming a 4-horse race there. Fair play to Tom Diggs, just holding station there in 4th, having a bit of a quiet one so far this evening, but he can see up ahead of him that, well, if the right opportunities arise, it will be by no means a quiet one. So doing all that he can do at the moment to try and stay on terms with these top 3.
Is indeed. Leaders hop through the final chicane once again. Looking back here from Michael Preston's gearbox. Didn't have the most comfortable of season starts in 2023, did Michael Preston? Oh, bit of a moment there for Garrett Berry. Gone in the grass on the inside, almost like a rally-style cut there. The back end of the car kicked out. That'll have caught Berry's attention, Howard.
Just a little bit, caught mine. As they're 3 abreast here towards Adelaide nearly. And is this going to be the opportunity for Harrison to cut underneath? He's going to get Berry. Can he get the drive to get by on Preston as well? This is fantastic stuff heading towards Nürburgring chicane. I think Preston's going to have it in hand. It'll be a bold move here from Harrison, but he has got by on Garrett Berry for 2nd.
Well, that's all the experience of Kieran Harrison, the driver who's shown a lot of patience in real-life racing as well in the BUKC for Leeds University. He wants another race victory here. What can he do to navigate his way past Southampton's graduate driver Michael Preston? Bit of a lock-up there from Preston. Still looking good, soaking up the pressure at the moment, but is Harrison now pulling out, looking for a move perhaps into the final couple of corners? No, too far back, too far back. Apex comes on you way too quickly through there. Just holds position for now.
Look at some other battles throughout the field. This is Cameron Watson having a look at Matt Hale. He's going to get the job done. Good battle between Andrew Dawson and Jack Eyre, covering Jack Eyre behind them as well. Here is Tim Penny now coming under pressure from Steve Hicks for 5th place. But still the closest battle on the track, Andrew, is the one at the sharp end of the field as they approach Adelaide once again.
Preston to the inside once more. Berry's looking down the inside now. Is there a lane for him to get back into P2? There could be. Off of the corner. No, Harrison whips round the outside. Great driving once again.
Steve Hicks versus Tim Penny into Nürburgring chicane. Good little battle this between the two, but Tim Penny positioning his car well at the moment. Oh, as Matt Whitefoot is wide. Matt Whitefoot is wide there, coming out of 180. And that might give a bit of a sniff of an opportunity to Sam Sanders. Remember, is your B final winner working his way up the field now. Bit of a moment there for Matt Whitefoot. Still the highest placed Class 2 driver in this race in the 104. Distinctive yellow and purple colour scheme that he goes for both on the car and on his lid for this evening. Standard colours, as that looked like a wide moment for William Doyle ahead of them. Tim Penny still under pressure as there's a big lock up in the background there, and that was Matt Salmon. Matt Salmon is round Lycée Pin, and that's going to be a costly one for him. He drops down to 17th place. I think he benefited from the amount of runoff there, though. I don't think there's any damage on the car, just a massive lockup that we saw in the background. As coming in towards the hairpin, Michael Preston down the inside, or defending I should say, the inside against Kieran Harrison. I don't think Harrison's able to do anything with it, but Preston is now compromised towards the chicane, surely not through the Nürburgring chicane. No, he is going to stamp home his authority on the inside line there, but goodness me, there's an opportunity for Garrett Berry as well, maybe into 180. They're looking for opportunities where you perhaps conventionally wouldn't round here, as they keep pushing each other, these three. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Oh, and there's drama in the background. Who was that I saw spinning off? Someone was off there through 180. It's Steve Hicks. I think it's Steve Hicks. Steve Hicks has dropped down. He's dropped well down to 10th place there, where once he was challenging Tim Penny. So drama for Hicksy. He was off out of 180. We spoke about how it's a surprisingly challenging corner. You come in really fast. It's a long left-hander, easy to get impatient with putting the power down. And he's round and he's dropped down there to 10th place.
Yeah, real shame for Hicksy. There's some points. Still a good number of laps of this race to go. Michael Preston continuing to hold position at the front of the order as Christopher Powell comes into pit lane to serve some unscheduled service, it would seem. Round
Hale.
there is Matt Hale. Off his Jack Air as well.
Yes.
Was not expecting Jack Air to appear there from that side.
There's something about this evening. I don't know what it is. Coming off the hairpin, the top three still in the same order. See Tom Dix settling into fourth, and Tim Penny now without the pressure of Steve Hicks behind after that moment for him. I'm quite sure with Christopher Powell. Powell took tyres, Andrew. He went up on the jacks. The 41 of Craig Brown is ahead of him there in the pit. I think Brown is out for the remainder of this race. Charlie Summers still circulating. He was the driver involved in the incident with Craig Brown on the first lap. He is soon to be traffic to be lapped. No offence intended to him, as these top three close on in on their 9th tour of the Circuit de Nevers Magny-Cours. Goodness me. We've got a super final after this one as well, mate.
Yep, we've got a whole another race for us to enjoy here this evening. Do stick around for that one. We'll have a brief break of about 5 to 10 minutes after this particular race. Still plenty of racing to come here on the DDMM YouTube channel. If you're enjoying this and you're new around here and you haven't done so before, do consider clicking that subscribe button for more of this. Kieran Harrison looking to shape up a move here on Michael Preston, on board with Garrett Berry now as they go towards the Adelaide hairpin. Preston has the inside line again and again. Somehow they all stay in the same order. Harrison has got that move down pretty well of being able to attack Howard without opening himself up too much to an attack from Berry behind.
Yeah, he's just able to do in a way, the classic, but it's easier said than done. Inside line, half in attack and half in defence into the hairpin there. But yeah, and we saw a couple of laps ago them trying some more creative, throwing some more creative shapes into Nürburgring chicane and into 180. So they're having to get a bit creative now, I think, Andrew. As there's a wide moment there for Garrett Berry as he's, I think, trying to open the door there into Chateau d'Eau. But yeah, they almost know the situation now as there's a slow-moving Andrew Dawson ahead of him. I'm not sure if that's letting them by. I think that's damage. Oh, that is damage.
That's a lot of damage.
And that's going to be difficult for him to... that's one way to get out of the way. But the question is... what did... Oh, and that's...
Oh! And a contact there with Tom Dix. Hopefully Tom Dix didn't have too much damage because of that. Well, he's got a little bit of front left end plate damage. He's got 2 laps to limp that around. But, oh, I've got to say that was a bit of a questionable rejoin for me. In the context of the situation. Tom Dix will have been fully weighted up on the front, understeering a bit. There's not a lot that Tom Dix would have been able to do about that. Let's look at this. Harrison with another chance of trying to get past Preston, but Preston's going to hold the inside so close between the both of them, and still Preston holds on to the lead.
This is brilliant stuff from Michael Preston. We've seen so much success for him in this championship over the years we've been running it, but for me, Andrew, this is one of the best. I think this is the best drive I've seen from him this season.
Yep.
At the moment, this is brilliant stuff. But yeah, that was an unfortunate rejoin there for Andrew Dawson. He did the the right thing with top three, really focused on it, but then perhaps just didn't realise how close Tom Dix was behind. I mean, there's the gap between Dix and Penny. I think he's, yeah, you can see that damage, as you say, not just the end plate, but there is a kink to the front wing there.
So they'll see the white flag this time around. Can Michael Preston hold on to this A final win? It would be huge for his championship campaign, as through on James Fremont goes Matt Salmon there. That's for 13th place. But a big run up the hill. This is what Michael Preston needs. He's been able to defend to the inside for many laps of this race. There is a bit of traffic up ahead. I think it's Charlie Summers. You can see Preston trying to break the toe. He's moved once. Can't move again. He's moved to the inside. He'll sit there. He's got to get his braking right here as they head into the Adelaide chicane. And Berry comes for miles back. Lunges down the inside of Harrison for P2. Has he got it? No. Harrison holds round the outside. Preston is going to retake, will hold on to the lead. Harrison will hold on to P2. But what a lunge from Garrett Berry, giving it his all. If he locks up there, Berry, that's an absolute disaster. He has locked up there through 180R. But what great racing once again from Preston, Harrison and Berry here in the A final. And it looks like Michael Preston might be able to hold on for this win.
That lunge was colossal, Andrew. I was convinced we were going to lock up and go into the rear end of one of the two ahead of us. That was absolutely amazing stuff from Garrett Berry, showing all of his skill and talent there. There was an irony to him locking up slightly into 180 a couple of corners later, actually. But this is brilliant stuff. And as you say, it looks like it's going to be Preston here.
It's just got to get through these final three corners. In some ways, two. There's one of them. And then it's just the flick back and forth through the chicane to the checkered flag. Michael Preston wins in the A final for Southampton Motorsport and Williams Esports. What a brilliant victory. One of his best in the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Kieran Harrison is P2. Garrett Berry P3. Tom Dix holds on despite damage, gets P4. Tim Penny P5. P6 for Sam Sanders. A C2 win for Matthew Whitefoot there in 7th. 8th for William Doyle. 9th for Steve Hicks. 10th for Cameron Watson. Luke Tomlinson from the B final finishes 11th, his second of the C2s. Adrian Goodwin across the line 12th. Matt Salmon is a podium finisher in C2 in only his third ever round in this championship. First as a C2 tonight, he finishes 13th overall, just ahead of James Fremont and Matt Hale. Jack Eyre 16th, or will come across the line 16th. Charlie Summers will be 17th. And then we've got three drivers off the lead lap. Andrew Dawson 18th, 19th for Christopher Powell, and a retirement for Craig Brown. Another really, really high quality race there, Howard. Props to the drivers out there.
I think this is my favourite round of the season so far, mate. There's just something about the racing this evening. These Formula 4 cars are throwing up some massive entertainment. We've got brilliant battling at the sharp end of the field. We've got some great battles bubbling away in the mid-pack as well. And the circuit is clearly providing a challenge for these drivers all at the same time, and it's making for a magic combination. As Charlie Summers, who's had an eventful one, it has to be said, comes across the line there to close them out and manages to avoid the donuts of a Matt Hale there. This is just providing so much entertainment.
It is indeed. We're going to take a short break here on the commentary. We'll be back shortly for the second lobby. The super final is... hold that gap. Isaac Lord has got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Go either into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essence, but he's got the run. He's gone for a big move. Switchback by Weaver. Read it beautifully. Saw it coming. Kept the steering open. Let Ben Davis come into the inside, and he's still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all three of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in senior Rotax. Round 2 of Super 1 2022 line on row 11. Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12. and then we'll have our two qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 Club 100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start for Mike Coppin. Sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race this for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton. Early advantage how to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last tour of the circuit.
White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's 3 of them has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brenton at all. He's going to try and get the side draft working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. His Sanders going to hold it. Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael. Stages of this race. Ross Witherow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a tenth of an. Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross Witherow, brave as anything, on the brakes into the final corner, takes the lead of the race. That was a superb, awesome overtaking. Now is Ryan McGinnis going to respond back here? He's looking for the inside now. 6 minutes have expired. That came from miles back from Ross Witherow. Kevin Shine is continuing to go round, by the way. Really, he can drive. He's just not got a lot of power in the number 22. And oh my God, down the outside attempting. That is an outrageous manoeuvre. Oh, we saw one lap ago. That was even better from Ryan McGinnis. And over the line to take the win. Room left by Whitefoot on the outside there. Good news for David Whitehouse. Look, he's got away. He just needs to get through Ascari chicane and Curva Alvaretto, and he's got a great result here. Tom Dix just holding in front of Steve Hicks there. Dix and Hicks at the moment on the outside of the top 10. They need to get up 2 positions if you're Steve Hicks to get on the front row for contact. That's going to be a big one. Into the wall goes Dix and Hicks. Through goes Ian Sumner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to live coverage on Alpha Live of the 6th and final round for Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland 2022. My name's Andrew Mather. Great to be with you here at the historic Kart Barn Vollen circuit on the 1st of October 2022. We're here in northern Switzerland for this season finale, and it's got all the ingredients to be an absolute cracker here today. Here's your circuit, 815 metres in length, 12 turns, technical, in its 60th year as well, 60 years of racing here at Vollen. The circuit established in 1962.
It's Michael Lenz. Oh, Michael Lenz, who had a great finish to heat number 2. Something has gone wrong for him there, and he is out of this race. That's a real shame for Michael Lenz. The driver he overtook for the lead on the last lap of heat number 2 goes by him. Samuel Ithrid. What a season it has been. He's going to finish it in the best way. The junior champion for the last 2 years. He was at Grand Final in 2021. He's going to be there again in 2022 as the senior Rotax Max champion. Samuel Ithrid takes the win here at Vollen. Kurt Wenger is going to take the win in Master Max.
Final lap of the 2022 Mini Rock Super Final here at Lonato. Cantan's down the inside, going for the move into turn 4, takes the lead. Has he overshot? It's going to be side by side between the two AV Racing drivers as they approach turn 5. Will be advantage Canton on the inside, holds onto the lead, but Cosma Christopher is charging along, has closed the gap. This is not over yet. Kalea still there in second place. They're heading towards the last few hairpins now. Cantan defends to the inside. Kalea still there in second. Cosma Christopher can smell that remarkable victory Cantan's still got the lead in this race. Has got to defend down the inside into the last corner. Get the drive off the final corner. Who's going to be Mini Rock champion for 2022? It's going to be Vivek Cantan. And the title stays in North America for another year. Vivek Cantan wins the lead of the race. Cook is still there in second. Carter's still there in third. They slightly banged wheels. Carter around the outside takes second place. One more opportunity. You've got to think James Roots is still in there as well for the race win. Grayson Wortley, he's got to defend down the inside into Wilkins. He's done just that. He's got to get off the corner. Oh, they're going to be three wide. Coming off the corner. Ronnie Carter's gone round the outside. Ronnie Carter becomes champion in the 2022 Super One Miami Bambino Championship with a last corner overtake. Have you ever seen a championship decided like that? What a race win. It's not going to be his first one of the year. Joe Holmes knows the situation. Richard Allen is going to win at Brookmore Park, but for the first time since 20.
back, everybody, to live coverage of tonight's 5th round of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. We're getting ready for the super final here at Magny-Cours. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary duties for you tonight. And Howard, it's been frankly brilliant so far tonight here in the F4s in France. What are your expectations ahead of this this super final?
Beautiful chaos, I think, is the best description I can think of, mate. We're putting all of our drivers back on track for the first time since the very first race of the evening. Worth bearing in mind, of course, that when we last did that, we saw a big incident at the Adelaide hairpin on the first lap and a safety car. So hopefully, second time of asking with a field that big, will be okay. But that is going to be a key one, I think, is what is the nature of that first lap? If it's clean, then, you know, things might run a little bit more as expected, which, by the way, is no dull thing at all. At the very least, we're going to see another, one assumes, battle resumed at the front between the top three who've entertained us so much this evening in the form of Preston, Harrison and Berry. But yeah, if there's a big incident on that first lap, it could really shake up the order. We could see some big opportunities for maybe some drivers who haven't had a chance to shine yet this evening.
How do you see the drivers playing this race? It's a longer race, of course.
It is. Is it? Or is it not the standard 12 laps that we've had so far this evening?
I'll be honest, there's that much that's happened this evening. I've completely forgotten. I can't pull up my info screen.
It's a 12-lap race, the same as the others.
That might save us in some regards.
Your and my vocal cords probably just did a leap of joy there. We might make it through yet, but no, it's. How do they play it? Well, the key thing is what I was saying about the first lap, mate. You aren't going to get anything if you're in the wall by the end of lap one.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing is survive, give each other racing room. Easier said than done. The thing is, it is such an unusual start to a racing lap in many ways, Andrew. It goes in to, you know, the first sweeping corners, and it isn't until the Adelaide hairpin that you get you know, a proper braking zone, a big standard braking zone. So it is difficult when you're all going side by side, of course. There, I do remember again. So I don't know why I'm referencing GP2 so much this evening, but why not? I do remember distinctly a GP2 race here where two iSport drivers just drove into each other off the start of the race.
Yes.
They were qualified first and second, and oh gosh, who was that? One of them was Timo Glock. I can't actually remember who his teammate was, but they managed to just take each other out at the start of the race. So both in the sim and the real world, it's difficult. But so yeah, survive, get into a rhythm, then start to pick off you know, drivers if you can. That would be my approach. But then again, there are some drivers with a lot more skill and pace than me in this race. Maybe they don't want to wait around and find a rhythm. Maybe their rhythm is to be passing left, right and centre. We shall see. But in a way, the middle sector here, Andrew, almost has an inherent neutralising effect. We've seen it so much this evening already. You know, a battle will come out of Adelaide, and by and large, unless there's a mistake through the middle sector, it's about, you know, hold on tight to the car ahead of you and try and make sure that you've still got an opportunity when you come round to the next major overtaking opportunity, which is at Chateau d'Eau. I have to say, thanks to I think it's Craig Brown who's he's complimented my French accent.
Well, you've had enough practice in the last couple of
I
weeks.
think my French accent is so variable that he could be serious or he could be saying that in jest, and I would believe it either way.
Mm-hmm.
GCSE French, mate, you know, right up there.
That's all you need. Quick few shout-outs as well. Apologies. This is sometimes the alert box shows us the name of the person who's subscribed, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it just goes to my email box, and these are the list of those who have had just that. So big thank you to L555 Corey, Mark Bevan, Josh Gollin, and Shane Sullivan, who have all subscribed to the channel in, I'm guessing, the last few days, or since we did the BUKC 24-hour, which was a bit of an ad hoc stream, I must admit to you, ladies and gentlemen, but I think in all respect that went pretty well, as TU Dublin took their second BUKC 24-hour race in a row. Spoiler alert for you there. But plenty more to come here on the channel. You know, obviously every single round of this championship, we have got a lot of footage from trackside at Le Mans, which eventually, hopefully, I will get myself round to editing and up onto the channel for you. And maybe be around tomorrow night as well. We'll just watch this space on that one. We'll try and get something together for tomorrow night in the Gran Turismo sphere. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Interesting. I like it.
So you're not missing anything at the moment if you're wondering why we're just rambling and not talking about racing. This is just a warm-up / free practice mainly because we've changed servers. Now, whilst the circuit is the same and the corners haven't moved, the track grip may have changed. So it's a slightly longer warm-up tonight to give the drivers a bit more time to get used to the track conditions that this particular lobby, randomly generated conditions we should stress, just to give them that opportunity to get themselves acclimatized quite literally with what the sim is doing ahead of this ahead of this super final rather.
Yeah, track temperature currently 32 degrees Celsius, Andrew, and that is, I believe, a little bit toastier than we had in the previous server, so that could be interesting as well.
Tell you what else is interesting, point situation going into this final race. Michael Preston, 148.5 points from a possible 150. Garrett Berry, 147. Kieran Harrison, 147. I think what we're saying pretty much is winner takes all in this one. Tom Dix is not too far behind on 142. Tom Dix on 144. Tim Penny is on 142. And then you've got Matthew Whitefoot. Sorry, I'm fiddling around with buttons all over the place again. Matthew Whitefoot in the lead there on 139.5. Grid forming up, Howard, for the super final. Let's have a look through it. Oh, the systems are a bit warm tonight. There it is. That's a completely wrong grid because Cameron Watson should... no, sorry, of course it's a reverse grid. My brain's got too hot as well. Cameron Watson, pole position. Well done to Cameron. Starts alongside Steve Hicks, Will Doyle and Matthew Whitefoot, row 2. Sam Sanders and Tim Penny, row 3. Tom Dix and Garrett Berry on debut, row 4. Kieran Harrison and Michael Preston, row 5. It's the top 10 that gets reversed on this partial reverse grid. I should have remembered that. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Tomlinson and Adrian Goodwin on row 6. Then Matt Salmon and James Fremont, row 7. Matt Hale and Jack Eyre on row 8. Charlie Summers and Andrew Dawson on row 9. I've still got a little bit of time, I think, ahead of this one. Christopher Powell and Craig Brown on row 10. Away we go then for the super final. Very even start for those on the front row of the grid. Steve Hicks is going to look to the inside, takes the lead of the race in the early stages here of the super final. Side by side as well between Whitefoot and Doyle for P3. Tim Penny's running a little bit wide as well, and maybe under attack from Michael Preston in the dark blue car, the Williams Formula 1 livery, as they all sweep towards, and it looks like Andrew Dawson's going for a bit of rallycross on the Joker, which nobody had planned for around the outside of turn number 2. There is Adam State back involved as well. He's had a torrid night so far. Bit of a damage limitation job this. Watson to the outside of Hicks as they go through the Adelaide hairpin for the first time. Is there a mangling of metal in the Formula 4 car behind? No, they're all pretty much through the first couple of corners, and we stay green, Howard.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Glad to see they all heeded my expert advice, of course. That's why, as they all jostle for position through the middle sector. Great start for Steve Hicks. As you say, Matt Whitefoot having to keep his foot in it against Sam Sanders there in a battle over 4th place. Kieran Harrison putting pressure on Tom Dix. Finally, we've seen Tom Dix in battle with Kieran Harrison. He's been looking at him up the road for a fair amount of the evening, but he's now in the position of defending against it as Michael Preston ahead of him fires one down the inside of Sam Sanders. Going to try and get the better run off the corner, and I think that's going to be through for Michael Preston as Garrett Berry looms behind Kieran Harrison and Tom Dix. Michael Preston down the inside of Whitefoot there into the Sepan, and I'm not sure that was Whitefoot fully well, he certainly wasn't going to give way, let's put it that way.
No, well raced by Matthew Whitefoot, but he's going to be under attack here, and maybe this is what Michael Preston's plan was all along. Get him offline, get him out of sync, and through goes Michael Preston through turn 1. Sam Sanders is going to go round the outside potentially, still side by side as they go through turn 2. Got to be so precise through here, and here comes Kieran Harrison as well in the yellow and black Asher Racing machine. Looks like Sanders is going to get ahead of Whitefoot there. Here comes Kieran Harrison. He's going to be on the outside again. This is where he was for most of the A finals, to be honest, battling with Michael Preston. Still side by side with Sam Sanders. There's lots of locking up going on further back. And has Harrison managed to get himself ahead of Sanders? He has. So really good stuff from Kieran Harrison. Through once again, this time into 5th place.
And that's going to be key, Andrew, that Kieran Harrison has got past there, because it means he can stay in touch with Michael Preston. Garrett Berry, not so. He's going to have to. He just got by Matthew Whitefoot there into 180, but he's now got to get by on Sam Sanders. This is really interesting. We've got slow moving. Is that slow down there for Cameron Watson? It is, and that's going to allow Kieran Harrison through at the Imola chicane. Not the. And there's a lump in there for Sam Sanders, nearly taking out Cameron Watson as well there. My goodness me, that was all very close. I don't know quite how they didn't hit.
Yeah, so I think what happened there, Watson was slightly off speed because of the slowdown. Checked back across it just caught Sam Sanders out, and he had no option really just to get on the anchors so he didn't lose his front wing. That put him offline, and Berry was able to get through. So end of lap number 2, on to lap number 3. Here's your fight for the lead of the race, isn't it? Steve Hicks and Willie Doyle on board with Doyle now. He's got a decent run out of turn 2, had a bit of understeer, used a bit of the curb to his advantage, but here comes the slipstream on the long run as into the pit lane.
There's several, I'll cover them in a moment, Andrew. There's been several actually, as down the inside goes Doyle on Hicksy into Adelaide. Can he get it stopped in time? Yes, he can. I don't think Hicksy's going to get the drive off the corner to challenge back again into the chicane. So that is change for the lead. William Doyle to the head of this field. So just to do a bit of housekeeping, Andrew, all the following drivers have paid a visit to the pit lane already. David Whitehouse, Craig Brown, Sam Dimolo, Rick Wong and Christopher Powell and Tim Penny have all had to either tow back to the pit lane or make a stop at the end of the first couple of laps for damage.
That's what's still going on as well. We've got an answer from Mr. Whitehouse on the GP2 teammate. It was Andreas Zuber.
Andreas Zuber, dual license of United Arab Emirates and Germany. That's my random fact about
that. Good scrap going on here. Hicks has not given up this lead battle. I just wonder, with the pace that we've seen from Preston, Harrison and Berry so far tonight, are the Wiser working together at this stage of the race and trying to hold on to this lead for as long as possible. Fighting surely will encourage the holy trinity of Magny-Cours, it would seem so far tonight, into the battle for the lead. And Michael Preston has just gone purple through that last lap of the circuit, 138.512. This time it's going to be Hicks with the slipstream on William Doyle. Can he repay the favour? Can he retake the lead here on lap 4?
This is crucial for Preston, Andrew, if he wants to take this lead and not have the same harassment from Harrison and Berry that he did in the previous races as Hicksy lines up Doyle for a pass. If he can get by nice and quickly and cleanly here, Preston, assuming he's going to, and he's going to go down the inside of Doyle, that's for a long way back, and Doyle did very well to realise what was happening there and to concede the place in many ways, but that was a beautiful move from Preston. That was to take away from Hicks's nice move for the lead, incidentally, but great move from Preston there.
That was marvellous. That was utterly marvellous from Michael Preston. Oh, as Steve Hicks locks up there through 180. again, one of those examples of if he locks up there, Michael Preston, it's contact with William Doyle, it's a race-ending incident, it's probably a protest post-race as well. He got that absolutely spot on and gave William Doyle no option but to relieve the position. Switchback being done by here by Preston. Can he get up alongside Steve Hicks? Hicks gives him room there as they go through Chateau d'Eau, and they're going to be side by side again as they run towards the final couple of corners. Is there enough of an overlap for Michael Preston to sling it down the inside? Hicks is going to defend as the next corner is a right-hander, will be to the advantage of Hicks. Here comes Harrison, nearly contact with William Doyle through the final chicane. They're nearly tripping over one another. What a racing lap here in the Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship. Steve Hicks leads, but for how long, Howard?
Garrett Berry up into 4th place. Andrew past Kieran Harrison. That could be crucial considering how much we've seen those two battling so far this evening. Great opportunism. There was a hold-up for Harrison as he tried to get by on Doyle. You said nearly contact. I say there was contact, and it slowed him down coming off the final chicane, and Garrett Berry didn't need a second time of asking. As they head towards Adelaide again, Hicks is going to have to go defensive. Who's going to be challenging, though? Well, the answer is everybody behind him. Preston's going to try around the outside here. This is fantastic stuff between the top 5. Still, Hicks is in the lead as they come off the corner. Garrett Berry is going past Willie Doyle, though, for 3rd place. And Preston's still side by side with Hicksy into the Nürburgring chicane. And he's through! Oh my goodness me, what a move from Michael Preston. And Garrett Berry's going to be down the inside at 180 as well on Hicksy into 2nd place. Andrew, that is one of the moves of the season for me there from Michael Preston.
I can't quite believe I'm about to see this. I think we've just seen, as Matthew Whitefoot is off and is hit by Craig Brown. And that is a real shame for Whitefoot, puts him out of contention for the C2 win tonight. But have we just seen the final? How many years are we doing this series now as Hicks has gone deep? They're not going to allow me a chance to get this superfluous statement out because there's still more overtaking going on as Harrison's alongside William Doyle. Have we just seen the greatest sequence of corners in the history of this championship? 5 drivers battling out for the lead of the race, overtakes, counter-overtakes, the whole lot, not a single piece of contact through those corners. What brilliant racing here in this championship.
Couldn't agree more, mate. This is fantastic stuff. And we're not done yet because look, it's Michael Preston and Garrett Berry fighting at the front of the field. That's not something we've seen enough of this evening, I say. Let's see how they get on this time round. They heading down to the Adelaide hairpin. Kieran Harrison behind, needs to get by Steve Hicks to stay in touch with them, Andrew, based on the pace we've seen so far this evening. Side by side into Adelaide for the lead of the race. Preston will have the inside line. Is there a switch back for Berry? Behind them, Kieran Harrison has got by on Steve Hicks. So it is now the top 3 that we've seen so far. They're almost side by side heading towards Nürburgring again this time. But there's not going to be a pass this time around as there was last lap. Michael Preston still in the lead. Kieran Harrison up to 3rd.
And Michael Preston's got so much confidence now. He was able to defend from this point of the race in the A final earlier on this evening to take the win in that race. If he can do it for this lap plus 6 more, he's going to take a round win, a crucial round win in the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Arguably get his season back on track, which for the last couple of rounds has very much looked like the Kieran Harrison and Kieran Harrison only show. He's still there, he's in 3rd place at the moment, but for Michael Preston this is crucial for his championship campaign. Runner-up the last couple of years to Josh Ladd. Josh Ladd, the reigning champion, not here this year. Preston was the early season favourite, but this influx of talent that's come into the championship this year has really put him under a stern test, and no sterner test than this now, as Garrett Berry, who, if we haven't mentioned already, in real life is a Formula 4 driver, does race in the French Formula 4 Championship, knows this place very well, this Magny-Cours circuit, and has got a great chance here to open up his campaign in the Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship with a round win.
That got to the pit lane camera there, Andrew, by the way, was to highlight the fact that Adam State is in the pits again.
Yeah.
He's out of the race. What a night it's been for our championship leaders, side by side for the lead of the race through Adelaide. Once again, Preston will have the inside line, and surely he'll be able to just hang on to the advantage on the inside, unless Garrett Berry is going to try and give him a taste of his own medicine through the Nürburgring chicane. He can't quite do it, but into 180. Preston is wide. Down the inside goes Berry. And it's side by side, and this time Berry does have the line advantage. Can he get the drive off the corner, though? Preston will have the neater line coming off the corner. It's still Preston at the front, and all of this has brought Kieran Harrison right into it once again between these three who have given us so much entertainment tonight through the Imola chicane. It's still Preston somehow, but my goodness me, you wouldn't bet on it staying that way with the way that they're battling at the moment.
You can see what Garrett Berry's trying to do. He's trying to get Michael Preston off the racing line, has a bit of a wobble of his own, and now he's going to be open to attack from Kieran Harrison, but has Kieran Harrison got the speed? He can't really go for a big lunge there because he'll just career into Michael Preston, and they hold station. Preston, Berry, Harrison, Hicks and Doyle still in this as well. And I feel if you're Garrett Berry, you're trying to get Michael Preston off the racing line to eventually get the move done 3-4 corners down the road, but Michael Preston is doing such a good job with car placement in a defensive position on the road. He's got good confidence around the outside, but he's also, I think, got confidence in Berry. He'll give Berry a squeeze on the inside of corners like he did through 180R, knowing that Berry has control and isn't going to take both of those cars out of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again into Adelaide, pretty much deja vu of the last couple of laps. Good positioning by Preston onto the inside of Adelaide, and he knows that if he can just twin that with a decent drive off of the corner, he'll have the advantage going into the section of the lap where it's so hard to overtake, the middle sector here.
And there's traffic.
There is. I think that's David Whitehouse who's had to visit the pit lane at one point. Although I do think he messaged the Andreas Zuber fact whilst in the pit lane, so I am indebted to him. Yeah, he's going to give way to this traffic. Look how hard Garrett Berry is pushing there out of the Imola chicane.
If there were no doubts after Barcelona, mate, as to whether the change from F3 car to F4 car had positives, I think we just show those this tonight. This has been superb. Don't get me wrong, I missed the F3 car, but this F4 car is putting on a real show in the single-seaters rounds this year. You can still get involved, of course, if you're a Club 100 or BUKC racer, present or past, or a current BPEC driver. You can get involved in this championship. Plenty of rounds coming up. Next appearance of the F4s will be in September. Here's a good chance for Garrett Berry. Good slipstream, but once again, Michael Preston will park it on the inside line as they go to the Adelaide hairpin. It's going to be a big move from Garrett Berry. Can he get his nose ahead? Can he get side by side? They're going to be side by side again. Coming off of the Adelaide hairpin, Kieran Harrison's looking for a move as well. And this is where Berry will try and get Preston off the racing line because he's still there. Preston has to give him some space, retakes the lead as they go through the Nürburgring chicane. Berry's now looking back down the inside again, but crucially this time as Harrison now looks to the outside of Garrett Berry to try and get P2. Respectful racing between the three of them again, a bit of a hop over the curb and a bit of a wobble for Berry. Is this the opportunity for Michael Preston to break away with this lap plus 3 more to go? Crucially, I think there, Howard, in comparison to a few laps ago, Preston had control of 180 as a turn, full control. That's left him in a bit more of a comfortable position as they go into the latter stage of lap 9.
Yeah, agreed. There was a slightly different complexion to that one, isn't it? And this could be the opportunity for Michael Preston over the next lap. Just want to highlight brilliant effort from Luke Tomlinson.
Yep.
Highest placed Class 2 driver at the moment in a good little battle here with Adrian Goodwin. But we've seen him have to battle his way up this evening as Luke Tomlinson had to get promotion from that B final, and really good stuff at the moment, running highest place of Class 2s.
Dan Gamblin as well, he's recovered from the B final, is currently running P13, second in Class 2. 3 laps to go. Michael Preston's got a bit of a gap this time to Garrett Berry and Kieran Harrison behind. The weaving begins. I think this time Preston doesn't need to defend to the inside, but we've seen Garrett Berry send it down the inside, and he's going to have a go at it into the Adelaide hairpin, or at least a good think about it. Pulls short. Well, we saw him pull a move in the A final like that to take a position. I thought we were about to see it again.
Yeah, I have to say, I can see why Preston wouldn't usually feel the need to defend there. As that big one comes from Berry.
And spins out. Garrett Berry spins out of second place. whilst pushing for the lead of this event, has spun out in 180. Through goes Harrison, through goes Steve Hicks, through goes Willie Doyle.
Well, we spoke about how hard he'd been pushing, Andrew. Really, this Imola chicane was a good example of where Garrett had been pushing so hard, as he's going to go down the inside here of Willie Doyle. If Doyle gives him the room out of Chateau d'Eau, it's David Whitehouse doesn't know what to do with himself. He's a lap down. He's like, do I do anything?
Get the
here?
popcorn out. Get the popcorn out for this. Berry to the outside of Doyle now. Doyle doing a brilliant bit of work to defend this position. He's fully entitled to new fast. Oh, big hop across the curve for Berry, and he spins out full 360. David Whitehouse just about doesn't make contact with him, and now Garrett Berry's given it everything that he's got and more, and unfortunately is now down to 8th place.
Well, it's so easy for these things to unravel, you know, Andrew. If you have a big moment like that, a mistake like that spin, it's so easy to suddenly ramp up the pressure on yourself, as that's an interesting line from Sanders through Estoril.
That's what you call chronic understeer.
It is, but yeah, that was just, it's not the red mist, it's the I don't know what it is, but Garrett Berry will have been kicking himself, and I think it just got the better of him there as he was pushing through the chicane to try and recover something immediately there on Willie Doyle.
So we're down to 2 then at the front of the order. Michael Preston leads by 0.4 of a second, and it's his adversary this year in this championship, Kieran Harrison, just behind. There's traffic up ahead. I think it's Matt Hale in the 003.
It is. It is indeed.
My, oh my. The other thing is, who's going to lead the championship at the end of tonight? Could be Steve Hicks, you know, sitting there in third place. Yeah. Adam State having had not a good round at all.
Been very consistent so far this evening. Little battle pack forming here, Andrew. Cameron Watson at the head of it in 5th place, ahead of Tom Dixon, the golf-coloured car, Sam Sanders, and then the recovering Garrett Berry.
White flag is out then. 0.2 of a second, but Kieran Harrison has just put in the fastest lap of the race. 137 point. Is that a 3 or it's an 8? So 137.8. It's rapid speed from Kieran Harrison. And once again, well, we thought we might lose something from this championship when Josh Ladd decided that he wanted to focus on other things. But Kieran Harrison has stepped into the breach. We've got another brilliant rivalry forming here as we approach the midway point of this season. Harrison to the outside, Preston on the inside, but this is what he's done throughout so many laps tonight. He's got through the Adelaide hairpin. Is that one finger, 2 fingers on the trophy for tonight's round? It's simple maths. If Michael Preston wins this race, he wins the round. Into 180, this could be an opportunity, but no, Kieran Harrison is just too far back there. Still raging on the fight for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. And it looks like Garrett Berry has gained a couple of positions back. He's back up to 6th spot. It's all down into the final. That right-hander, the 90-degree right-hander for Preston, blocks the move being done there into Chateau d'Eau. But has he opened? Has he gone wide? He's gone wide. And Harrison's going to be down the inside, surely, for the last big braking zone. Has Kieran Harrison got the run down the inside? Has he got the line? He's got the inside line for the right-hander. Has he got the move done? Preston's still there. Oh, there's contact through the final chicane. And Preston crosses the line first. Oh, my goodness me. Drama here at Magny-Cours. Surely there's going to be words about that one.
Yeah, that's controversial. I mean, at least they both crossed the line first and second. I think if Steve Hicks had got by, there'd be even more controversy there. But I mean, it was good racing, Andrew. You had to go for it, right? There was contact as they were entering towards that chicane. But goodness me, there's a lot of people across. There wasn't a lot of field sprint, was there?
No.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, obviously that's a controversial way for it to finish. But oh, goodness me. I mean, Kieran Harrison was ahead heading into that chicane.
Yeah.
You know, if it had been the other way around and it was Preston and maybe Harrison had made a bit of a kamikaze move to you know, give it one last attempt, maybe it would have been different. But that's going to be controversial there, and we're going to have to see what the stewards make of that. As sorry, and all of that, I think I flicked onto a scenic cab, and it was well done to it was Preston Harrison Hicks. Willie Doyle, good result for him in 4th. Cameron Watson in 5th, managed to hold off Garrett Berry at the end there. Tom Dix, Sam Sanders, Adrian Goodwin. Luke Tomlinson take a bow, highest place of the Class 2 drivers in that one. Jack Eyre, he's had a variably round, I think, as Jack, but finishes in 11th place there. 10th of the Class 1 runners. Dan Gamblin, Charlie Summers, and then Matthew Whitefoot rounds out your Class 2 podium for that, with him coming home in 14th place. Tim Penny in 15th, Matt Salmon 16th. This man, Chris Powell, who is always useful for me to highlight on this in-lap, because he likes to do the in-lap, so I appreciate that. Yes. Finishing 17th. Dawson in 18th, 19th for James Fremont. Rick Wong, highest placed Class 3 driver, in 20th, and it was Matt Hill, Craig Brown, Simon Delamere, Richard Sanders, Alan Curtis, Sam Dimelo, David Whitehouse, and Adam State, championship leader coming into this evening with one to forget today.
Yep.
Classified 28th.
Wow, it's not often I'm speechless at the end of a Club 100 event, whether in real life or in sim, but I am. My oh my. I think this is one of those where we say the result is provisional with a capital P for tonight's results, but as it stands at the moment, Michael Preston won that race by, I think, about half a second in the end over Kieran Harrison. Steve Hicks P3. William Doyle P4, both of those drivers did a great job using the reverse grid to their advantage. And there's a test of the damaged model by Mr. Powell. Mr. Powell, oh, he's blown his engine. And his brakes, and his everything.
He was Placidic shot.
Yeah. So there we go. Cameron Watson P5, Garrett Berry P6. Got to give it to Garrett. A good sport tonight coming in.
Yes.
You know, there's never competed in this this championship before.
And imagine the pressure he must have been putting on. It's so easy to get the, you are a driver in this car at this track in the real world championship. The pressure he must have put himself under in many ways, or the pressure would have been easy to succumb to, and I think he's put in a really good showing.
Has indeed. I don't know if we can show the final results. I'm aware, I think that a black flag has been cleared for Michael Preston in regards to the final cutting of the chicane. So there it is. So 1.6 seconds in the end for Michael Preston over Kieran Harrison. I should stress this result is pending any protests post-race and investigations. The final result will hopefully come out in around 36 to 48 hours time with work schedules and all the rest of it. Michael Preston wins the super final from Kieran Harrison. Steve Hicks P3, 4th for Willie Doyle, 5th for Cameron Watson, 6th for Garrett Berry, 7th for Tom Dix, 8th for Sam Sanders. Maybe a little bit disappointed with the result tonight, but at least coming through from the B final, some good points on the board for Sam Sanders. 9th for Adrian Goodwin, very much under the radar, I think, that drive from Adrian tonight, but some good points for Adrian and a lot of praise due his way. Luke Tomlinson won in C2 in that super final ahead of Jack Eyre. Dan Gamblin, again, a good result there, having fought through from the B final, finishes 12th in the super. And I'd keep an eye out on Dan Gamblin the rest of this season. He's really taken a step forward, it would seem, in preparations for this event. Charlie Summers P13, Matthew Whitefoot P14. So more good points for his C2 campaign, and we'll see what that's converted to in terms of a round result shortly on the provisional, I'm sure. 15th for Tim Penny, 16th for Matt Salmon, 17th for Christopher Powell, 18th for Andrew Dawson. 19th for James Fremont, 20th for Rick Wong, your top C3 driver. Matt Hale P21, Craig Brown P22, Simon Delamere, Richard Sanders, Sam Dimlow, Alan Curtis, David Whitehouse all finished off the lead lap, and a retirement for Adam State. Wow. Well, we're just going to hold a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen, for arrival of a provisional result. Howard,
what more can we say about tonight's round that we haven't
you
already?
had to ask. You had to ask. I'm just as speechless as you, mate. I mean, I think I really think this has been one of the best combinations put together. I really like this Magny-Cours circuit. Is one of the big takeaways for me. It's interesting. Before we came on tonight, mate, I mentioned that I haven't actually driven Magny-Cours in iRacing. I was reminiscing that probably the last time I drove this circuit would have been in R Factor 1, probably a mod for R Factor 1. Either that or possibly F1 Career 98-202.
Oh, yes.
Something like that. It's been a long, long time since I've driven this track. But I remember it as being that challenge. And I think we saw that laid bare this evening. But it didn't take away from the racing. It meant, I hope the drivers have had a good time. I think they have, because even if you weren't in a fight, this circuit provides enough of a challenge. Particularly, I think the Formula 4 car is a great combo with it. This is why I keep coming back to that combination, because it meant that they were having fun and having a challenge, even if they weren't in a battle. Right? It's kind of like when you do the Nordschleife in, well, pretty much anything.
Yep.
The challenge of the circuit is in of itself immense fun to do. So yeah, this is a fantastic. So this is making me want to basically just go for a race around Magny-Cours on iRacing, because it's been really, really good. It's been the second race in France in the month of June that's kept me highly captivated and massively entertained.
Looking ahead for DDMM, things that you can catch with us. Keep an eye out for tomorrow night. Not confirmed yet, but keep an eye out. Sub as well if you haven't already. Weekend off regards comms or being at a circuit this weekend. I'm off to Milton Keynes on Sunday to watch a concert, so that'll be good. Back to normal though the following weekend. Super 1 at Fullbeck on the first weekend of July. We'll have circuit commentary. Not sure if it's streamed yet or not. We'll again watch this space on that one for commentary up at Warden Law the weekend after. Xenyx Super Prix is also coming up in the next month, so do definitely subscribe to Alpha Live if you haven't already for some of that, just up the road from DDMM HQ. Next Club 100 iRacing round is the 12th of July, and it's our last one before our F1 style summer break of just over a month. So do get your entries in for that one. My brain has gone to complete mush in the heat tonight. I can't actually remember what we're doing for the next one. I know it's not F4s, because the F4s aren't back in till September. I'm stalling for time whilst I find the calendar. There it is.
I'm racing as well.
Silverstone GT3s,
yes,
2x40 minute races. That'll be good fun.
Yeah, it will.
In the month of the British Grand Prix. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, and you are a driver with a history of racing in Club 100 or the BUKC, or you're a current British Pro Kart Endurance Championship driver, do get involved. Details below. Join the Facebook group and the Discord. Pay your entry fee. And join us for the rest of the season. Of course, you will be able to watch that round number 6 here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Very, 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 very interesting results, Mr. Mitchell. I'm going to go from 28th upwards. Sam Dimolo 28th on 185 points. Richard Sanders 27th. David Whitehouse 26th. Adam State 25th. Wow, I was not expecting to say that at the start of the night. Alan Curtis 24th, Simon Delamere 23rd, Rick Wong 22nd, Craig Brown 21st, into the top 20 we go. Dan Gamblin was 20th, Christopher Powell 19th, 18th Charlie Summers, Andrew Dawson 17th, 16th Matt Hale, 15th James Fremont, into our top 3 in C2, and Matt Salmon on his C2 debut has got a podium in C2, so very much warranted his promotion, and he is now in with a chance of winning one of the seats in the free Club 100 Endurance in real life drive at a race in 2024. Look out for him rising his way up through the standings in the next coming rounds. We go one spot up from 14th overall to 13th overall to find our next C2 driver, and second in C2 tonight was Luke Tomlinson. Jack Air 12th, Adrian Goodwin 11th, and in 10th place overall we find our winner in C2. Very good performance. He likes France in June, doesn't he? Matthew Whitefoot is your C2 winner. Once again in a June round. He did that last year at Le Mans in the Pro-Am Endurance Special. Let's go further up the top 10 then. 9th, Tim Penny. 8th for Sam Sanders. 7th for Cameron Watson. 6th for William Doyle. Top 5 look like this. 235.5 points for Steve Hicks. 237 points for Tom Dix. Very well deserved 4th place for Tom Dix. He's been very, very quick tonight. Good to see him up there. 3rd place for our debutant, Garrett Berry, 242 points. But here's the thing, Howard. I was wrong earlier when I said it was a simple situation for Michael Preston of win the race, win the round, because I forgot about the fastest lap points that were available throughout the course of tonight. And the round has been decided on the basis of a 0.005 second gap in fastest lap in the last race of the evening. 138.258 for Preston, 138.253 for Harrison. Michael Preston scores 248.5 points. Kieran Harrison scores 249. At least for now, we should say that is a provisional race result, because I do think we are going to have a few protests tonight, and we'll deal with them in due course. But Kieran Harrison, again, has won another round of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship.
Well done too. I mean, in fact, using the word settled is perhaps a little bit premature, as you say. There could be a little bit of conversation about that. But for it to be that close to the round, as you say, 5 1,000ths of a second in it, the fastest lap. After the evening we've had, it couldn't have done it any other way, could it? That's absolutely insanely close, and well done to Kieran Harrison, we say provisionally. But I've got to say, well done to the both of them, and I'll throw Garrett Berry in as well for that. I cannot think of a time, I cannot think of a round, recently at least, where we've had that much entertainment at the sharp end of the field. You know, a cynic would have maybe looked at the last few rounds. You know, Kieran Harrison wasn't with us for the first round, but after that has just gone bam, second, first. You might look at it and think, oh, fantastically, you know, I can think of quite a prominent championship actually in the world of motorsport where people are starting to go, oh, it just seems to be the same person at the front. Tonight he had to really fight for it, Andrew, really fight for it. And you mentioned sort of the perhaps forming of a new rivalry here. Competitive, whatever it is, I am down for it. This is absolutely brilliant, and bring on Silverstone, I say, because I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. You know, and we've still only just crossing. Silverstone will be the sort of middle round of the championship. 11 rounds we've got. This was round 5. Still so much action, and this one is bubbling away nicely.
It is indeed. We'll be back for the next round of the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship on Wednesday, the 12th of July. As Howard says, our venue will be the home of British Motorsport. Silverstone, the full Grand Prix circuit, the GT3 cars are back. And interestingly, it's where we could expect a lot of car changes. This is where a number of the drivers will use their Joker to change GT3 car. There has been a shifting of the sands, it would seem, in the GT3 iRacing world. We've no idea which cars the drivers are going to turn up in at Silverstone, but it could be a very, very exciting round in that regard. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here tonight on the DDMM YouTube channel. If you have enjoyed it and you haven't done so already, do click that like button on your way out and the subscribe button as well for more content here on DDMM. Do enjoy the rest of your night here on your Wednesday evening and the rest of your week. We'll see you very, very soon for more action here from the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship in a few weeks' time at Silverstone. For now, though, thank you very much for joining us, and goodbye.